Well, puckered lip Leroy had the hats. He walked like a cowboy and he called the shots. He had a couple of girlfriends, a couple of bands, a couple ex-wives and a couple of fans. Always saying, I've got it under control. Life ain't nothing but a fat loophole. If you don't cross your wires, then you're good as gold. What's your name, honey? Let's go back home. Gina, the sad piece, was having reservations. Thought she finally met a man to meet her low expectations. She caught him giving neck at the Texaco with a pistol at his temple. He still let him know that I've got it under control. Life ain't nothing but a fat loophole. If you don't cross your wires, then you're good as gold. I love you now, honey. Let's go back home. Gina rounded up all his current and past lovers, hog tied in a double wide. She closed the shutters. They put a couple hot rounds through his pride and joy. Said, who you gonna fool now? Pucker lip Leroy. I've got you under control. I may have lost my mind, but you lost your soul. If you cross us again, you'll get 100 more holes. You know about his honey. Now waddle back home. Daisy told time with the moon. She let the stars guide her day. She thought the crystals in her bedroom would heal her and her back pain. Darryl worked at the Jiffy Lube. He open carried when he went to Wendy's. He bought beer and beans for the apocalypse. He'd swear to you was impending. Darryl and Daisy were mad in love. An American pairing no one could have dreamed of. Daisy liked lavender oil. Darryl liked regular oil. Daisy didn't shave a bit. And without you asking, he'd say that he liked it. Daisy spent 2 summers in France. Darryl had "Don't Tread on Me" on his cargo pants. Daisy loved his awkward limp. She'd kiss him and he'd say, man, she really boils my shrimp. Darryl and Daisy were mad in love. An American pairing no one could have dreamed of. Darryl and Daisy were mad in love. The smell of the 2 of them, well, it could have killed you. She'd pick flowers while he ate Spam straight from the can. sour, like a fish in a hole, holding hands. Daryl and Daisy were mad in love, an American pairing no one could have dreamed of. Well, I'm 3 white monsters deep, and I'm shaking like a leaf. I got a honey bun in 1911, and I ain't never felt more free. It's a beautiful day at the Circle K. The European mind is ignorant and blind to the beauty of the USA at the Circle K. At the Circle K. I got 40 on pump 4, a couple 40s and Newports. Ain't much better than the feeling when I hear the dingo walking through that door. It's a beautiful day at the Circle K. The European mind is ignorant and blind to the beauty of the USA at the Circle K. Stick 'em up, give me your keys. I found me a new Ferrari. You can have my truck, but you're out of luck. The DA's good friends with me. It's a beautiful day at the Circle K. That European guy was ignorant and blind to the beauty of the USA at the Circle K. At the Circle K. Monsters deep, and I'm shaking like a leaf. I got a honey bun in 1911, and I ain't never felt more free. It's a beautiful day at the Circle K. The European mind is ignorant and blind to the beauty of the USA at the Circle K. At the Circle K. I got 40 on pump 4, a couple 40s and Newports. Ain't much better than the feeling when I hear the dingo walking through that door. It's a beautiful day at the Circle K. The European mind is ignorant and blind to the beauty of the USA at the Circle K. At the Circle K. truck, but you're out of luck. The DA's good friends with me. It's a beautiful day at the Circle K. That European guy was ignorant and blind to the beauty of the USA at the Circle K. At the Circle K. Well, I'm 3 white monsters deep, which means
totally buy merch and albums because you're supporting the art track. Yes. Especially this one. Mike said that it was cool for me to use his music for streams.
He's a vibe.
Like, the realest, the coolest motherfucker. Didn't have to, but was down to let me. Had no idea what I was doing otherwise, but I'm here for it. How is everyone doing? How are we doing today? What's going on? Are we riveted? Are we doing our best here? Hopefully we are doing our best. Alright, looks like everything's good. That looks good. So,
I figure it snowed just about everywhere over that way.
Yeah, I hope everybody in the southeast side of the country is doing okay.
Just another day in this waking nightmare. I haven't seen you around since the demo. We have lots of new bells and whistles for survivor inspection, base building, and, well, keeping people like me alive. Next!
Oh, hello?
This place ain't...
Oh, I guess the trailer for that's playing. Alright, there we go. Just got done shoveling my driveway of over a foot of snow. Pass. Too much for me. Couldn't be me. Ice storm in Texas. Yeah, a friend of ours, actually a couple friends of ours are in Texas, and from what I understand, it's pretty western. So hopefully you guys are okay. It's cold, but I only got some rain. That's good. Did arms and legs at the gym, even though the heel still hurts. I'm proud of you. That's good. Just remember, too, that your body is going to tell you when there's a limit. There's a distinct difference between pushing too much and not pushing enough. So just make sure that you are careful when you can be. Oh, I need to change that, actually. So, I guess to start off, as usual, it's Sunday. So, just like every other given day, I don't have a plan. I feel like that's pretty par for the course, more or less, for me. Please, everybody, hold your surprise. Like, but one good surprise only. It's sunny in Seattle. Yeah, but I think we're gonna get, so I think the Pacific Northwest is about to get hit with some, like...
real fuck shit.
Some real fuck shit.
I think we're gonna get one good one before it's all done.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the door that was borked? I traded out the door handle. I replaced the door handle and the lock because I realized that there is no one informed me of the true complexity of replacing a door.
Not to mention our door is fucked.
I went to so prior owners, right, have already fucked this door pretty hard. Also, I guess I'll start from here. Hi everybody, I'm Autumn Ivy. Ellis is here today for the moment so we can hang out and chat. So the door debacle, right? For those of you that weren't here or don't remember, while Ellis was gone, the door broke. I did not break the door. I want to be very clear about that. I did not break the door. Okay? The door broke itself. And And I mean that. I did not break the door. So, to clarify, what I mean by that is mostly that when you would go to open the door handle itself would no longer turn. So my guess, because when I took it apart, it looked to me like the inside spring, because there's a spring mechanism inside of the piece that goes into the door. So like when that door handle turns, that's what allows for that to slide back into place.
Ancient doorknob, no work.
So the doorknob was already kind of loose a little bit, and I think what eventually happened is just consistent use and opening and shutting it caused that little spring system inside of the deal to finally break. Fine, whatever, right? It is what it is. So,
I'm gonna grab a cough drop real quick.
What I assume, though, is that it snapped, and then the thing could not, I don't know what any of these pieces are called. I'm doing my best here. The thing within the thing that does the thing did not thing any longer. So the thing was not thinging, one could say. But basically, the spring mechanism that allows for that to turn was no longer, like, pushing itself back into place. So yeah, TLDR, door handle broke. Big break. So I went to Home Depot and I was like, all right, no big deal. Like maybe I could just replace. So I'm thinking in my ignorance that you could just take off the door from the hinge system and replace the door.
Just hang a new door.
And it'd be good. Like we'd be set, no problem. Problem solved. All good. Apparently that's not the fucking case. Apparently you cannot just do that in some instances. I guess that on occasion you have to, like, so you can replace the door and just rehang a door, but looking at it and the way that the outside, the external part of our door is, it looks like the whole frame probably could do with replacement, and then that way we can figure it out from there. So I took pictures and I went and had a conversation, and I was like, I could just rehang the door, but at this point, if I'm going to spend the money, then I might as well get a pre-hung door and just replace the frame. And I was like, hey, have you ever replaced a frame? And the guy I'm talking to, bless his heart, very, very nice guy. Like, he tried, but he flat was honest and was like, no. And I was like, you work here in this area, and
you're in the door section.
You've never. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. We're both learning today. And he goes, well, I looked some stuff, and he's been on his phone for like 15 minutes. And he's like, I looked some stuff up though. And he's like, it looks like you have to have the jam and then make sure for this and then check that. And he like goes through a list of things. And I'm looking at him like he has a dick on his forehead, because I'm only understanding half of the words he's saying, but I can like see it in my mind's eye. And I'm like, there's no fucking way I can do this by myself.
No.
Like, you need at least two people, and not even being funny. Like, I'm bullheaded, and I know that if I really wanted to and it was dire straits, I would do it by myself. But to install a whole new frame, you need a second person to be able to stabilize and like, so that you can put the shims and stuff in, right?
So here's the kicker. Our door doesn't have a jam.
No!
I don't know what the fuck they were doing when they did this back door, but there's a reason that it's literally just a piece of wood on a hinge.
It's a piece of 2x4 that acts as the step that makes up the bottom framing of this door.
So what we need to do is we need to just buy a door without the jam and hope it fits. But outside of that, basically because they yeehawed this back door and did not build it correctly, there is no jam.
No.
We would literally have to rip out parts of the side of the house. So
yeah.
Our option at this point is to
rip out sides of the house.
Rip out sides of the house, or just find or make a door that fits the size and just hang it and be done with it.
Or find someone, which is fucking impossible where we live, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeehaw, the back door is about right. Yes, the door has lore now.
Yeah.
So we either find someone, which is
they put a doggy door in it.
I have more of a probability. Yeah, with fucking plywood. I have a higher probability of finding a fucking unicorn than I do of finding someone that can reasonably repair this door at this point, like professionally. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So at this point, I got mad because I was like, I can't replace this door by myself without replacing the full frame. I could just unscrew the door and replace the door, but then the frame is still fucked. So like, cool, whatever. So I look at the door handles and find this poor guy who, by the way, has been with me for the last like half hour trying to help. And like, again, he was really nice and he was trying really hard. So like, I'm not gonna shit on this dude for being like a homie. But he comes out and he's like, okay, so what if you just replace the door handle for now? And I was like, that's the best idea you've had in 30 minutes.
This was the idea Ellis had before he left, by the way.
So, see, Ellis apparently knew the door was broken before I did.
I told you the door
and
was
I quote,
broken.
no,
and when you
no,
yelled about
no.
it, I said we can just replace the doorknob, and
no,
then I left.
No, you didn't. I don't believe you.
Okay.
I was so stressed out and anxious.
My dog had separation anxiety.
By the fact that you were leaving. You were leaving.
Uh-huh.
That's all I heard.
Yep.
I'm leaving now.
Rah, rah,
You told me you were leaving.
Rah, rah. Okay.
You done?
But yes, we need a broken door to fix the broken door.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Basically.
We don't need the whole jam at this point. It's either because if we replace the whole door jam, we are literally cutting into the house. So at this point...
Which they've done to 3 of the other doors.
Yeah, all the doors are this way, just so we're clear.
Because apparently they just couldn't find doors that fit, I guess, and then install them properly.
Which, like, to some degree, yeah, alright. But at this point, that means that we have to either find a door that fits or have a custom door made. Which is also ass. So.
Yeah, Hydra just said, holy shit, the same thing happened with the sill plate of my roommate's house. Caused a bunch of rot in the rim joist. He helped him bottle jack the house, praying the whole time that it just wouldn't straight collapse. I was busy ripping up the cushion in the other room the second that you mentioned leaving.
Yeah.
It's not a complete lie.
It's not a lie at all. That's about right.
I don't appreciate that you guys are likening me to the Huskies in the funny animal videos that are just tearing up furniture. I don't know how I feel about that. Thanks. But yeah, so I'm sorry that happened to your roommate. That aside, that's the lore of the door. So I have replaced the door handle, and at this point, short of finding someone who can help us install the new jam system with a pre-hung door, I'm just gonna unscrew the door eventually and screw a new door in place that is the same size as the door currently hung. Because I don't.
No desire to rip out part of the fucking floor and the house and just, no, we're not doing all that.
I lack the knowledge necessary, and without a proper guided hand, I don't want to cause more damage. Mind you, I want to point out that this is the door that is directly next to the breaker box that, prior to replacement by a proper electrician, electrocuted me. So I'd like to not... I'd like to not do that again.
That whole back section of the house is something.
Hello. Oh, we were talking, somebody asked about the door and how, like, what wound up happening with the door. And I was responding that...
She already got shocked.
Oh, yeah, no, that happened.
That's old news.
No, the electrocution happened. That I got electrocuted months and months ago. So, like, the way you said Ellis left and now I need a new door, I thought for a second he'd left in a rage and broke it down. No.
Ellis doesn't break doors.
Not this time. I do sometimes.
Not on purpose.
No. I broke the washer door one time.
Also on accident.
Yeah, that was actually an accident, though. Yeah. Headbutting the fridge was not an accident. I was upset. I could see him doing it for a bit, but not in anger. No, Ellis is the least likely person, I feel like.
I don't break stuff, I lose shit.
Yes.
Like, my object permanence does not exist. So I lose everything. And it could be sitting right in front of me on this desk. If I don't remember putting it there 5 minutes ago, it's not there.
No.
I do not see it. It's not even on purpose.
No.
I cease to see stuff.
I feel like you just... It's the object permanence that comes from ADHD, I feel like, where you set something down and then all of a sudden... Like, it could be on a completely empty spot, but if it is not... I have to put shit on his keys. Bearded, thank you for the follow. Berserker, thank you for the follow. If I don't put shit directly on his keys, he doesn't fucking see it. It does not exist. And so I come back like 2 days later. I come back 2 days later and I'm like, Ellis, what's going on with this stuff? And he's like, what stuff? And I'm like, that it's right there? No. And he's like, what stuff?
Yeah.
So no. Same, it's a fucking problem. No, things don't move. They're in the same fucking spot. You moved. The things did not move. Stop blaming the Fae. Hydra, thank you for gifting a sub to Sarah Cat. I appreciate you. You cannot just blame the Fae for missing objects.
That's where our cutlery and socks go.
Yeah, they mostly take our socks and sometimes our spoons. It depends. Usually it's spoons. I blame the door on the Fae. Maybe you move stuff with your unknown telekinesis powers. I did not.
Nope, I just black out that I move stuff.
No. He misses the whole piece of the whole movie.
I have ADHD. My object permanence is terrible. I might be a few fried brain cells short from previous activities in life. So, like, it takes me no time. I can set something here, walk to the bathroom, and walk back and be like, where'd it go?
Where is it? Where is it?
I am a magician, and I do not know my own tricks. And there's constant guesswork.
I am a magician who does not know their own tricks. That is... I need that in some type of media, whether it's a game or, like, a short. Like, it's just a magician who is constantly trying to do tricks, but in the middle of the trick literally does... Like, he still manages to succeed in the trick, but he has no fucking idea how he did it. But it's like the ending of a different... So, like, he goes to do a card trick, and then he just pulls a dove out of his pants. Like...
Hey!
Hey! Now, how'd you do that?
I don't know where the rabbit went.
What? What rabbit?
No, nothing! Nothing.
Oh, bet. I'll have to see it, Bafo. Man 0 to 1,000 in hide and seek.
True.
I mean, yeah. No, he's 1 for 1 in hide and seek. I'm gonna give him that much. That's the hardest quote of 2026. How'd you do it? I wish I could tell you.
True.
Like, he goes to talk to, like, fucking David Copperfield. How did you complete this trick? Sheer will?
Let me tell you, nobody hides my keys better than I do.
That's true. Even though we have a door hang that he could literally put them on walking in the door.
I do. And then they're not there anymore.
They are. Until he moves them. And then they're not.
Blacked it out. Didn't happen.
Saw 2 people practice sword fighting at a park in this city yesterday. I was stunned. I bought 2 rubber swords. That just reminded me.
Yeah, they're practice swords.
They are practice swords. Those fucking doves again. Sheer incompetence. You have a ferret and you can lose things on purpose.
Oh, we do. It's just small and actually a dachshund and not a ferret.
I mean, close enough.
Yeah.
I feel like he is, in fact, close enough.
Uh-huh.
They clanged. Oh, so they were doing, like, LARP steel practice. That's
right
really
on.
cool. I mean, more power to them. I personally would not thrive with live steel right off the bat, but hey, like, whatever you're fucking into. Oh, they had covers on the tips. That's no fun. That's not dangerous. I mean, I'm just... Don't take that seriously. Nobody take that seriously.
Okay.
I mean, or do. It's fine. TikTok seems to be having issues today. I'm pretty sure that's constant for TikTok. There's a group called Heavy Metal that does lots of Ren fairs, and they practice that to confuse people. I mean, if I were in a group like that, I would be down. Can we see this? They're in the garage, or I would show you. They are not currently here. We have like 1,001 other fucking things all over the place in this house, though. We have a thing called Swordcraft in Melbourne. No. Oh. Yeah, don't follow my teachings. It's not viable. So, I have to ask, did we watch Silent Hill 2 or Return to Silent Hill? Where are we at? Did we watch this? Have we watched this? Where are we at? I know a lot of you haven't. I know friends who saw it and they didn't like it. Okay. I am very do as I say, not as I do. That is pretty clear cut for me. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score. Yeah, but I never follow those. Rotten Tomatoes is a hit or a miss. I want to, but haven't since it's not my area yet. You guys saw it. Christian saw it. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so here's the deal. I will preface it with this. This is relatively spoiler-free. I will... It's hard to give the only thing I feel like is a spoiler, because if you guys played Silent Hill 2, then it's not a spoiler.
No, yeah.
The only thing I guess that would be a spoiler is how they decided to end the film, right? I think that's fair to say. Do we agree? I feel like that's relatively agreeable. Because, like, there's not really anything to spoil off of something...
Spoil a game that's been out over 20 years.
Yeah, well, not just that, but I think that... Hello, Harrison. I think that is the gist of it. So, it's not really spoilers, it's just more so how they decided to go about the ending. I wanted to bring it up, though, because I know a lot of people were asking... Did they go... Well, okay, oh my god, wait,
I
okay.
made that joke.
So, as we're walking out, Ellis is like, damn, man, where was the alien poster? Like, the Shiba Inu. Like, they missed an opportunity. So I know that a couple of people wanted opinions, and we're sitting bullshitting right now anyway. I liked what they did with Sybil. It makes me sad though. Like, Sybil's ending was fucking made me sad, but it's fine. The alien ending is also the bad ending. I wouldn't call it a bad ending. It's just like the dog ending. The dog ending and the alien endings for those games are mostly intended to be like gag endings.
It's like, what the fuck, Japanese humor.
I would say. So with Silent Hill, Return to Silent Hill, obviously I watched the first film. I watched the initial translation of Silent Hill from the game to the film base. I watched Revelations. So I didn't mind Rose, and I didn't mind the story for the initial Silent Hill film. I didn't think it was bad. I mean, obviously there was a lot of like deviation, but in terms of a general translation from game to film, it was cool. They kept the translations, like, or not translations, but please come back to me, English. The thing where the stuff goes and changes.
Transitions?
Yes, thank you. They kept the transitions, which I liked, right? So the transitions between the real world and Silent Hill were obviously a staple. And I feel like that's one of the few things that you really can't change when you're looking at some of the classic pieces. Silent Hill Revelations felt like a monster fight.
Because it was.
But, like... It should have been Heather's story and in the traditional sense for the third game, but by that point they'd fucked it so hard that, like, they got halfway into trying to tell the cult line and all the other shit, and they were just like, fuck it! It's a monster fight! And then we got a monster fight, and that was fine. But for Return to Silent Hill, which obviously came from the director, I believe, that had the first, I believe it was the same director. Producer or director? I think it was the director. The same director. Yes, Gans.
Yeah.
Christoph. Yes, thank you. So, the initial guy came back for Return. Some things I liked. And again, they aren't really, hi Mike, these aren't spoilers. You really can't spoil something that you played, especially when it was a relatively direct attempt at a translation from game to film. Again, if you don't care about knowing which ending they selected, then we're good. If you want to know which ending selected, great, we're fine. If you guys care, though, let me know, and I'll kind of leave that piece out. Overall, my thoughts on Return to Silent Hill. I didn't hate it. I know that a lot of... there's a 50-50 mix I'm noticing of people who hated on the remake that also hated the film, which sounds like to me they just are assholes who want a reason to be mad. And that's great for them. They can die mad. I don't care. There are some people who very much loved the game and loved the remake that also hated the film. My issue kind of comes from a position where I feel like there are fans of video game series that don't quite understand that you can have you cannot have a true bar for bar translation of a game to a film when you are trying to market in a mass position like this film was attempting to do. Thanks, Toby. I appreciate that. Would I like this film if I've never played the games or watched previous films? That's actually what I'm getting to. And yeah, Celine's right. Like Resident Evil games, for example, you either loved them or you hated them. In this instance, though, I would say as someone who is obviously very much a fan of Silent Hill as a whole and is willing to kind of take a step back and look at the games objectively as each of their own, in this instance, I would say that there was a lot of things for Return to Silent Hill that they were kind, I don't want to use the word forced because I'm sure that they had somewhat of a choice, but from a filming perspective, right, they were almost kind of forced into a corner to have to manipulate certain aspects of the story so that someone who never touched the games...
Bergerat just said it word for word.
Yeah, that's how Hollywood is. They don't try to appeal to just gaming. They try to appease movie watchers as well. Exactly. So Berg is on it, and that's exactly what I was about to say too. Berg was on top of it. Unfortunately, you hit this position with translation where sometimes you can't go bar for bar between games and films. And it feels like there's this requirement where, as gamers, right, especially when you're really passionate about a series, you're like, why the fuck didn't they put this? Like, one of the bitches that I saw, that somebody had brought up on X that was just on my feed was, well, why didn't they put the most iconic scene of Maria in the prison? And, like, that's iconic. Why wouldn't they add that? And I'm like, well, considering that majority of the leveling for the prison was set up to eventually work you to Eddie and to several of the other positions, like, the prison storyline itself was more of, like, I want to almost argue the concept of a mental prison, but it also had very literal pieces for the storyline from other things going on, like Eddie. For Maria, though, in that scene, that was more so like a metaphor base than it was for something to be literal to utilize for James. So putting something like that along with the labyrinth aspect, like, they were like, well, why didn't they add the labyrinth? They did. And there's a scene in the film, and I say that specifically targeting that person who was commenting, because it's relevant. So they didn't have the scene where Maria's behind the bars, right? That conversation didn't occur, but from a running time perspective, from a, like, understanding if you didn't play the game, it was not going to happen. Like, there was no way that there was a point of connection that they could have utilized to bring that into play into the film and had normal people who had never touched the games understand. The labyrinth was in the film, technically, but God forbid the person who was complaining apparently must have missed it. Because so Ellis...
Pretty obvious.
Yeah, like, Ellis didn't play the game side by side with me in terms of, like... Because he had never touched the games. The remake was his first time watching, right? Mm-hmm. So I just want to point out, even Ellis looked at me during one of the scenes where the labyrinth had been seen and was like, oh, shit. And I told him, I was like, oh, it's the labyrinth. Because...
It's not like it's a metaphor. Like, they're walking through a maze.
They're literally in a maze.
Like... What?
But it's not just the garden maze either. It was like a blocked out prison-esque maze, and that was their call to it, right? So they had to consider time, place, money, general, like, gen pop understanding for people, while also trying to ensure that they were meeting demands of fans of the series. there were several scenes that were shot for shot from the game, like shot for shot. And I really, really loved that. I loved that they set it up so that you could get those moments of like the overhead shot of James's car next to the the bathrooms that are destroyed and everything else, and like overlooking the city. I liked the fact that the mirror shot was in there. There was moments with Mary, or rather Maria. Mary and Maria both, but Maria as well. Changing James to be a painter, like an artist, was an interesting choice.
I think that it allowed... There were certain pieces in the story, right, that they had to kind of... not necessarily rewrite, but kind of weave back into itself so that you had one cohesive story. Because you have Silent Hill, you're dealing with like 5 separate stories all converging onto one thing. You cannot do that in a movie format when you have, just like somebody said, for every one person who's played the game, there's 9 people in the crowd who haven't.
Yes.
So you have to weave it all together in a way that does make sense to Gem Pop. I think the decision to make James a painter, there were things that occurred later, different scenes, like the scene where he literally drew the cage over his head that was a pyramid. There was another one where like you see paintings on the walls that are showing that she's getting sick. That was done to help tell those parts of the story in a way that people could understand that haven't played the game.
Is James less douchey in the movies than in the games? James in this iteration
the worst
had his moments.
Yeah, he had moments.
Polite reminder that James was grieving, but James was grieving based upon the players' interactions with the environment, right? So, for example, some players experienced different versions of James according to the way that they chose to perceive the game. And that's what makes Silent Hill such an interesting series, at least to me. Because there are instances where, you know, you had the ability to kind of assume a position of liability. I would say the actor did a really, really, looking like, oh, congrats. The actor that played James, I think, did as good of a job as he could with some of the line work, and considering that they did have to change a couple of the facets of who James was at his core, like such as being an artist. Like when we go to play Silent Hill 2, we don't really give a shit like what James did for a living. There was a bit of like a subplot going on that had to do with him seeing a therapist after like everything that was going on, which was a little different. Again, much like Ellis just said, I do believe that it was kind of their version of trying to explain it for general, you know, general fans or like general people who were just going to see the film. I didn't deem it necessary, but I feel like it was necessary for the reason that they needed to explain aspects of what was going on in James's head, right? Black, thank you. I appreciate the follow. Also bearded. No, we're not talking about James Cameron. So we were talking about Return to Silent Hill. Hey, Joker, how are you? Also welcome, Sarcastic. So the scene-for-scene shots that they pulled from the game were beautiful. There was a lot of really pretty cinematography in some of the instances that I personally really appreciated and I thought were just fucking stellar. Some of the changes that were required, I acknowledge I didn't like them. I thought that some of them were kind of a far push or a far reach and just were not... They just didn't... They felt crumbly, right? In terms of being able to interlay the story. I think that the story was still a bit confusing for people who have not played the game. And interweaving some of those crumbly cookie pieces only really made it harder to understand for people who haven't ever played the game. I think that people who did play the game also looked at those instances and were like, I don't know about that. Maybe not. I'm not really feeling it, Mr. Krabs. But mostly, I think it was because of the fact that a lot of people going in maybe didn't acknowledge they maybe didn't acknowledge that it was a requirement for translation so that general population could follow the story even if they hadn't played the games. And like, I think that's a forgotten point for a lot of that. On the other hand, you could argue Resident Evil, right? I feel like Return to Silent Hill is a little different, because, again, we're kind of running on a series line where they had an opportunity to do what they did. The actress that played Mary, Maria, and Angela, she played all three. I apologize. I feel like I should be putting some respect on these actors' names. So the actor that played James was Jeremy Irvine, it looks like. Yeah. Jeremy Irvine. So, solid job. Were there aspects of the acting that I think, upon initial watch when the film first began, was it a little rough? I think so. But it got better, and the further and deeper down the story that you got, the better that I feel like, and the more comfortable I feel he became, and what he's looking to do. Hannah Emily Anderson played Mary, Maria, and Angela, which I feel like that was maybe a choice based on budget. I couldn't tell you, I'm not involved, but she did play all three characters. That's hard from an acting perspective, and there are some people I've seen that have been shitting on her, and then there are other people who are praising her. Personally, I think if you have never done an acting job in your life, and that's just not your forte, you should not be able to have a fucking opinion on whether the acting is good or not, unless it just is downright dog shit. Like, oh, hey, Mark! Like, there's a difference. To take three characters, and I should know, I've done it several times where I've had to play three separate roles in a piece of media. To take three characters who are ultimately all different. Angela, I mean, no one can argue that Angela is leagues away from Maria. Leagues. And especially different from Mary. You're also looking at a character that was... I mean, to say it straight, like, this was an assault character. This was a deeply traumatized character. Yeah. Versus Maria, who had to have that kind of, like, temptation aspect, which was part of that deviancy that came with James. And then, Mary, who was just his wife. I think the storyline piece where they did change a little bit, where James, there's like a cult subplot as well, which I feel like they were almost trying to pull from 3. Like, they're trying to set us up that they're going to release another one that has to do more so with, like, the storyline for Silent Hill 3 that follows the cult and, like, the Halo of the Sun and everything else. Whether or not they decide to do that, I don't know. But it felt like that's what they were trying to do with this. Like, they needed an explanation for what happened to Mary.
Because I turned to her, and I looked at her and I was like, are they trying to tie in the cult so that it makes more sense? And then no sooner than I said that, there was the Halo of the Sun on the wall.
Well, it wasn't the Halo of the Sun. It was,
or one of the other...
Fuck. It was... Oh, God, the triangle. What is it called? The Halo of the Sun is from 3, and then they utilized the one from 2, which was the triangle. Fuck. No. Oh, God. Help. It's not the Seal of Atonement. Metatron seal.
Yeah, that's it.
So, it looked like the Seal of Metatron, but it was a little bit different. And then they had, like, Lucifer's sigil. They had or not Lucifer's sigil, but the Leviathan seal on a couple of things, which I was like, that's a choice. Sure. That sure is a choice.
I would say it's more of an adaptation for Silent Hill 2.
Don't... Oh, no, it's not not a sequel. And remember that a lot of Silent Hill in general, like Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3, are somewhat tied together because of Harry Mason and...
Sort of, kind of ish.
Yeah, like, to some degrees, right? So, Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 have some ties together because of Cheryl, quote-unquote, and Harry. Silent Hill 2 with James is obviously its own thing. We also have an ad getting ready to start, so please don't go anywhere. Hang out. We're talking about the same thing, and I will probably reiterate myself about 15 times because I don't know how to not do that otherwise. Palm! Hi, Palm! So, I think what I would say is, was this ultimately a good movie? It wasn't great. Not great. Not terrible.
Definitely not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Look, I went in with zero fucking expectations.
That wig gave me zero expectations. But
it actually was not bad.
Yeah,
whoa.
It did not look as dollar store as it did in the preview.
So I actually want to address that. That's actually a really good point because we shit, and I will admit I also did. We shit on that wig. Like, girl, why? That wig was wild. But I'm gonna say, so Mary, or not Mary, sorry, excuse me. I'm gonna do that a few times. Maria, right?
Yeah.
Maria was very clean in comparison to the other characters. Maria was like, and James comments about it and makes a comment like, because Maria's like, damn, bitch, you look rough. And James is like, well, fuck, bro, have you seen what's going on? Because you look fine. But bye, Palm, you're gonna do amazing. So, I want to point out, though, that Maria, throughout this film, is very clean in comparison to the rest of these characters, right? Which is kind of a testament to that underlay of metaphor of kind of what's going on and, like, you know, the acceptance of self and blah, 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 whatever. Like, I've gone into rants about Silent Hill 2, specifically the game, and I feel like some of that did carry into the film. The fact that Maria was very clean, though, was purposeful. Because it also kind of allowed for an audience member to look at a situation. Oh no. Valkyne got stuck in ad hell. Okay. It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I will pause for a moment. All right, I'll pause for a second in chatting so that you guys don't get lost.
In other news, we watched Dust Bunnies yesterday, and that was also dope.
I want to save... Can I ask my shitpost question? Yes, while we're on ad break, you can ask shitpost question. I want to save Dust Bunny because I want to bring that up, actually. You're back from ads? That was fast. Did they do rhombus dad? Oh, I wanted to talk about the practical effects versus like the CGI shit. So I will get to that, I promise. Ray, what is your shitpost question? Hello, Red Panda, thank you. Did he shove his arm in a toilet? God damn it, no! We were so mad. We were so upset because literally halfway through, like, I was like, damn, bitch, are we gonna get the shit toilet? Are we gonna get the toilet? So then we go through this entire movie and we stop. And Ellis turns to me as the credits are rolling and he's like, God damn it, Autumn. He's like, the movie wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. And I'm like, nah, it was actually pretty decent. Fair enough. And he goes, but you know what? He didn't shove his arm in the shit toilet. And I was like, no.
Laughed. They heard me and they laughed.
No. We didn't get the shit toilet. God damn it. Oh, that smells good. No, it's okay. Fuck the movie. Look. I feel like if he had shoved his arm inside of, like, a half-broken shit toilet and, like, withdrew it, just covered, I feel like that would have been simultaneously the most disgusting shit I've ever seen, but also, like, made the movie. Like, that's it. He wins.
Hoping for the pizza.
Yeah, we didn't get the pizza scene either, which was kind of depressing, but that's for, personal reasons. So, Cassie, thank you for the follow. Sitten, thank you for the follow. So no, unfortunately, we did not get James shoving his arm into the shithole. Maybe next time. So, also, you guys on break, you didn't really miss anything. I tried to pause some of the story. We were just shitposting. So, with the cult subplot, it was strange. I do think that the reason is that they were trying to set it up so that if they wanted to leverage because there is a cult in Silent Hill, but it formulates more so for 3. But but I don't know if they were utilizing it as a setup for something purposeful later or like what the point was. Either way, that and the therapist shit kind of made it so that I felt like it was, to me, it was very unnecessary.
It felt like a poorly positioned narrative device.
Right, but much like we discussed, I do think that they tried to utilize it as a required narrative device for simple storytelling to try to allow for people who never played the games to kind of follow along, right?
Like, respectfully, even if you haven't watched the games, if you're not picking up that James is fucked up by, like, the first 30 minutes in the film...
I've got questions.
And you need a therapist to reiterate that, you might want to go see something else.
Yeah, like that. Maybe that's... This is not the film for you. Ray, thank you so much for dropping some fucking subs, my guy. Dropping some subs to Mr. Demo, Brian Gaming, Omni, Rob, Driz, JK, OG Kush, Aztec, R. Salazar, and Willow Tree. Appreciate you, Ray. You get flexes. So, for the CGI versus the practical effects, some of the CGI in this film was fucking rough. It was a little rough. It was pretty,
Some of it wasn't.
I will admit that I think some of the CGI was, at least from the monsters, was a little tough. I think it was a budgeting thing. I don't think... Because, again, I want to remind everybody, this was not, like, some $1 million ass, like,
they probably
fucking...
spent half the budget getting Akira back for the soundtrack.
I mean, maybe. Akira might have just fucking come back. But, like, that's the other thing. Soundtrack, they utilized a lot of the traditional music from the game in the film, and I thought that was stellar. But, of course, Akira was also a part of... I believe he was an executive producer as well. So, obviously, a lot of the music translated, which was great. Pyramid Head was fantastic. Pyramid Head was predominantly SFX. So, almost everything was practical with Pyramid Head. I do like the fact that the way that they utilize, because those heads, the helmets for a costumer is very heavy. So the way that they combated that is they actually had the attachment for the back of it hidden by a strap system that looked like it was embedded in his back flesh.
I saw a video of him flossing on set with Marie.
Yeah, I saw that shit too. So like it was really, I thought that was solid. But Pyramid Head, I think that they did a good job. I also appreciate that they didn't, unlike the former films, they did not use him as like their staple sell point, right? So he wasn't their focus point for trying to sell this movie. He showed up when he was supposed to, correlated with James, right? So we got the scene. Oh, that's the other thing, and this is relevant. Mentioning the apartments, speaking about Brookhaven, like utilizing the locations and naming them and showing them as what they are, I thought was really fucking cool. So you do wind up in the apartment complex. There are some scene-for-scene shots in the apartment that I thought were really stellar, and one of them was winding up at the grating, with where Laura shows up, and then Pyramid Head eventually comes. I thought that was cool.
They did a very tasteful nod to the mannequin TM scene.
Yes, they did do that, which was nice, especially with the flashlight. Like, they had the pocket flashlight in the background that was kind of showing the dress, which was stellar. I loved it. Eddie
was kind of more of a cameo, but the actor did a good fucking job.
I hated Eddie, which means he did a great job. No, they didn't do the leggy bitches! Motherfuckers! Okay, I am both simultaneously upset, but also really glad. Because, one, fuck those bitches. But, like, two... Oh... No, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. You guys are fucking with me. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting too excited. Okay. No leggy bitches. But hold on. So, Eddie's introduction was perfect, right? So, much like you find him in the bathroom, like, that was cool. The actor that plays Eddie, again, I have to put some respect on the name, so hold on, I'll get the name for you. But the actor that played Eddie did, in my opinion, a really good job. His name is Pierce Egan, I guess. But Pierce did a good job for Eddie, which was interesting because Pierce the way that he approached it was to have those lines intermingled where you can tell that Eddie is not a good fucking guy. Like, right from the beginning, the conversation that occurs and his communication with James, he's a piece of shit, and he makes it very clear, because they talk about, like, oh, this town's empty and blah, 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 and, like, honestly, man, I'm really fucking glad about it and blah, blah, blah. Like, he kicks the shit out of James. Like, pushes him and then fucking, like, kicks him once or twice, and it's just runs. And then, like, takes off because Pyramid Head shows up. I'm just like, wow. No, that's fair. Eddie's a piece of shit. I am a little sad that we didn't get the conversation from the freezer that Eddie has with James, which is more of like that solidifying, not just that Eddie. So I'm going to make an addendum. That's me making an addendum. I bring this up because one of my favorite things about this is the game, right, where we meet Angela and Maria and Eddie. Angela has her monsters that were caused monsters, right? So when we finally get to Angela's portion in the game, we meet Abstract Daddy, who is also in this film and is fucking horrible. They added Abstract Daddy on top of Moth Mary and a few other, like, integral monster pieces. They did not just utilize Pyramid Head. And that is one thing I have to commend them for. Not to mention, I wasn't sure that they were going to use Abstract Daddy, even though Angela was very clearly part of this storyline. But they did. And it was fucking horrible.
I don't storm very often, but it made me uncomfortable.
The scene that they decided to move forward with Angela and telling aspects, which they also had the mirror and the knife scene, which was beautifully shot. The way that they chose to approach the scene with Angela, both as a fan of the games and as someone who is just trying to kind of pull back and watch it as someone to watch a film, horrible. Not horrible bad, but, like, horrifying, especially to someone that has had to deal with some type of trauma or something related to SA or that type of trauma base. And it's meant to be. It's not meant to be gentle. That whole storyline for Angela, especially during the Abstract Daddy fight, is not meant to be comfortable, and it's not. That was rough for me in the gameplay for the remake especially, because it was a lot more emotional than it was in the original game. So Angela, though, in the game, you had to deal with Abstract Daddy as the integral point of issue, right? One of the things that I really like, and that I don't think I got to talk about as much as I wanted to when we played it and beat it, was the difference between Angela and Eddie and Maria and some of the boss fights that you deal with, like Flesh Lips, right? With Eddie, though, Eddie doesn't have a monster of a boss. Eddie is the monster, right? So when you wind up in the freezer, he is your boss fight for that. Eddie doesn't have a translation because Eddie ultimately was the fucking monster, which was the proof of the point where you have these traumas, you have these inner demons, you have these horrible things that happen to you, and you're, like, trying to process grief and pain and you know, horrible thoughts and the things that you've done. And that's part of Silent Hill. Like, Eddie, across the board, any of them.
Eddie is the only person who the entire time is like, fuck it, I like it here.
Nah, fuck this bitch. And he's very much that way. I do think that they did the best that they could to translate that for Eddie. Again, he was more like a cameo. I do kind of wish that they had the conversation, though, from the freezer.
I feel like I'm losing it, because I really thought I saw a freezer clip.
In the trailer or
something, so maybe it was deleted. And maybe I'm totally wrong, but I was really sure I thought I saw.
And it's still possible. There could be some deleted scenes that maybe we're missing. That's always a possibility, right? Because, again, they had to cut the film to meet the demands of whatever they were trying to do for a production. Yeah. I think what made it interesting, though, and kind of what I was a little bummed about, is that we didn't get some of those pieces that was the true reflection and the consideration of these people were dealing with these things, and now they're facing their monsters and these horrible things that have manifested because of their grief, because of their pain, whatever, right? Or because of these people that have ultimately been at blame, and then they're taking responsibility for the things that they've done. Eddie Eddie wasn't that guy. Eddie was the fucking monster, right? Which is why, again, during that boss fight, you don't fight like Abstract Daddy or Flesh Lips or, you know, Moth Mary. Like, you fight Eddie. Eddie's the piece of shit, and he's cool with it. And he reiterates that multiple times in his dialogue while you're going through the boss fight, to the point where he's like talking about shooting the dog and like
laughing about shooting the dog.
All of that horrible shit that Eddie did, and he was down bad for it, right? So like, I do think there was some missed opportunities with driving that home a little bit more to the concept of like James was feeling grief for what had been done. And not really capitalizing so much on the monster within the man, I guess, for lack of better phrasing, versus the physical iteration of these monsters. Angela was, I thought, fantastic. Again, very painful scene. If you do decide to go see the film, just know that it's quick. It's very quick, but the minute or so that you spend on it was a little rough because it was very jarring. And then I would say the only other thing that they did kind of push, and I feel like it was purposeful for storytelling mechanics versus like how it should have maintained and how it was in the game, was the fact that James ultimately found out about this cult subplot where they're virtually feeding off of Mary is kind of what's happening. Like, her father has been poisoning her to offer her as like an offering to this cult to keep them going. And you don't get a lot of information about the cult and like what's happening.
Thinly fleshed out.
It's very thinly fleshed out, but I feel like it was only there as a plot system, as a plot device to keep things moving for someone who'd never played the games.
I think my issue with it is they used it as an explanation of why Mary got sick.
Right.
When and I think that this is one of my bigger gripes with it, the hard reality of Silent Hill and of Mary is there's not always a reason. Sometimes people just get sick.
Yep.
And I think trying to use that as a plot device to explain away, oh, well, this is why it happened, and if it weren't for the cult, this wouldn't have happened. Like, no, sometimes people just get sick and they die.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what made it so difficult for James in the first place, is he had no control. This just happened.
It just happened.
So they tried to push the cult thing, I think, a little
bit. For,
bit.
like, a supernatural purpose.
I just don't think it was necessary.
I, personally, if I were to have, not that anybody gives a shit what I think in terms of Hollywood, but like, if I were to have traded off a couple of things, I think removing the cult subplot, again, I still think that it's purposeful because I think they're trying to set it up. It had the movie done very well. I think that was their position to try to set it up to move to 3, and kind of clarify things a little bit. But I mean, I'm in the middle of speaking Valkian, so I'm sure I probably did. But thank you. I appreciate that. 28 months, Valkian. Also, happy belated birthday from my own mouth. Please understand that I am in the middle of, like, a passionate, regurgitated fuck shit, so I'm gonna miss stuff. And it's not helpful to have that until I'm done ranting, but I understand. So I'm sorry I missed it. But I think that had I had my say, I think maybe withdrawing the cult subplot and kind of clarifying and reiterating the aspect of, like, hey, you know, she was sick, right? She just got sick. Shit just fucking happens like that. Would have been 1,000 times more, I guess, felt by people than having, like, the pseudo supernatural, like, feeding on the life force of Mary bullshit. But it almost felt like that was their call to make the general population still see it as, like, a horror supernatural thriller type thing.
And I don't think it was necessary, because I feel like if there's anything that the Gen Pop can unfortunately identify with is that
illness.
Sometimes people just get sick and it just fucking happens, and there's nothing you can do, and it's terrible.
I think also the fact that James, during all of the cult subplot, there was a sub situation where James finds out about all this going on, is super freaked out, knew shit was weird, but like shows back up to their apartment, and then he comes back and is like, hey, what the fuck, Mary? And Mary's like, I warned you. And he's like, go fuck yourself. We need to leave. And she's like, I can't leave, James. You made me stay. I was gonna leave. And he's like, fuck this. I'm leaving then if you're not gonna leave. And then he grabbed his shit and just bailed.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
That was the other thing is...
I thought, like, do you love this bitch or nah? Because...
Hey, Abba. That was the other thing is that was part of the original...
True, Max.
Silent Hill 2 is that, like... No, he didn't leave. He was there the whole time. That's why he was bitter. That's why he was angry. That's why it all happened. And this focused a little more around, like, the self-hatred of I left and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it did shift a little bit of an integral piece of the story in a way that wasn't, like, a 0 out of 10 as far as it working, but, like, it didn't feel super necessary at all. I think they overcomplicated stuff in an attempt to make it palatable to folks who hadn't played the games.
And inevitably kind of missed the mark on a couple of things.
You underestimated your audience a little bit. Like, trust me, there's a lot to get for Silent Hill that's metaphor, but I think that part probably wasn't necessary.
December 6th, sarcastic is when it is, but either way, I'm excited, and thank you for doing that. I think, most of all, what I would say is, were there a lot of things that could have been changed, pulled, adjusted, because they were trying really hard to tell a story that was more wrapped around trying to tell it to a general population. Yeah, it's the cult thing, the James leaving her, like, they spent all this time together and they're so in love and all this bullshit, but then he just packs his shit and bails because he's like, this is too fucking weird for me, and then just fucking goes.
I love you so much, I'm gonna get mad and leave you in the hands of the weird cult thing.
Yeah, like, well, and Hydra just said James had nowhere else to go but Silent Hill, and that becomes very, very clear in the early story. I think that's part of it, though, right? So, which leads me to kind of getting into the ending. So, if you don't want to know the ending, I mean, you should know the endings by now. There's, like, 5 of them.
It's been out for, like, 20 years, man.
But, so what they ultimately did with the ending is, while we are finding all of this out, there's a scene where James kind of has instead of Maria just being like, oh man, I'm so tired, I'm gonna fucking hang out in Brookhaven Hospital and it is what it is, right? She gets injured by one of the nurses, by a bubblehead nurse, who they had like 2 minutes of screen time also.
The nurses were also a cameo. They weren't as integral this go around. That didn't need to be more
Which
than that.
They didn't,
but it was a very short cameo.
But I would say, so she gets injured, and that was their excuse for James going off to have the rest of these moments. When he finally meets back up with Maria, though, him and Maria have an exchange where she's like, oh, I look like her, blah, 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 whatever. Like, we could leave together. And so she does kind of hit the mark with Maria's attempt at, like, drawing him in. To which James's response is like, you're not even fucking real. Which... Again, a testament to them trying to tell the story by how clean Maria is and ultimately stays until she gets injured, right? And that's another kind of thing where you have to assess and ascertain what your opinions or what your feelings are on the matter versus what they actually are. But he tells her, like, I don't want you, I don't need you anymore, like, you're not even fucking real, whatever. They did a lot of pushing that James and Pyramid Head were ultimately the same entity. Like, Pyramid Head, again, was himself. So, like, you see James in the mask from, like, the whole perspective of the eye, a couple of different times throughout the film. So they did still try to nail on the concept that James and Pyramid Head are the same, right? Or that Pyramid Head is ultimately an extension of James. Because Pyramid Head does still kill Maria, which, again, is ultimately what happens in the game. In this case, though, it felt more so that James's acceptance of her not being real and seeing her as like you're just here to entice me, right? To, like, not do what I came to do. it kind of buries the point that he kills her himself. More so than it being an accident where he lets her go and Pyramid Head finishes the job. So that was interesting, but it also leads back to James having, like, his bullshit at Lakeview. Laura also has her moments. Like, she locks James in at Brookhaven, which is what happens in the game. They have their conversation on the wall. I don't like the fact that they stuck Laura in a dress. I do think it's cool that it's the same voice actor. So the same voice actor that plays Laura in the game is the same actor that plays Laura in the film, which is, I love it. I love that. I love that for actors. I love the fact that an actor got a situation where they were able to do both, right? So I love it. I love that for them. And I've driven that point home that voice actors are still fucking actors and deserve all of the right and the opportunity to ultimately play live action as much as they do vocal. I will always say that. I will live by that sword and die by that sword. Period. End of story. But Laura got to. I don't like the fact that they stuck her in a dress and did like some weird like, oh, I have this doll and this is the little girl play up bullshit. I mean, I wasn't with it. I don't think that your version of a little girl needs to be shoved in a dress every 2 seconds. I think that keeping her in overalls would have been just fucking fine. But sure, yeah, I guess, whatever. She did a good job on trying to kind of drive home what was going on with Mary and, like, James's tie to Mary and, like, leading the story the best that she could do, you know? So I think that overall, getting to the end, which is where we finish at Lakeview, at the resort, basically. The final boss of him having to see Mary and, like, coming in after he had grieved and finds out she's sick and shows up and processing that Mary is sick and ultimately killing her, right? So again, my issue boils back to you threw a tantrum because the situation was weird. Culty weird bullshit happened and then you fucking bailed, but now you want to come back and be like, "Oh, damn, you're sick. I shouldn't have left. I'm so sorry." Like, his guilt in the film came from the fact that he left and, like, just straight up abandoned her, which, again, they talk about the abandonment shit a little bit. But, like...
Yeah, because she was like, I would have gotten sick whether you stayed or went.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much how it was addressed. But, like, it lost the weight because he just bailed.
Yeah, but I feel like... And again, there's a lot of you... I have to say it this way because I feel like there's not really any other way to say it. And some of you may be a little emotional or... And I use this word not in a sarcastic way, but this may be a trigger point for some people, so please be aware. I have dealt with it myself, which is why I'm saying it this way. I think my problem is that he left and was just like, this is too weird for me. I'm out. If you're not going to come with me, then I'll go alone. With the game, the weight of watching someone that you love and care about deteriorate before you by something that you can't stop. Watching them suffer, having to deal with their, like, the mood swings that come with it sometimes, or, you know, like, cleaning up the vomit or the shit or anything else because they literally can't, like, they are too weak to manage, or knowing that nothing that you do can stop what is happening to them while they're suffering, and you can't fix it. You can't fix that for them. You just have to watch this shit happen while they're being eaten by something from the inside out, and there is nothing that you can do. And watching that happen to someone that you love and care about over a period of time until it finally reaches the point where they either pass away or a decision comes to the point where, like, they're comatose and you have to pull the plug. Or in James's case, which is what made this horrific, was the fact that, depending on how you played the game, obviously, because the conversation can go one of two ways, either he kills her because he can't do it anymore. He's over it. He's become so self-centered and selfish and horrible that he's just like, I fucking can't put up with this anymore. You are destroying anything and everything that I could have possibly had for opportunities because I have to fucking take care of you. And that's one of your points. Or, on the alternate end, he is so ripe with grief over watching this person that he loves ultimately become dust in front of him, like wisps of her former self, that he can't process it. And then she's begging him, I can't do this anymore. I can't feel this anymore. I hurt. I'm in pain. I am grieving myself, and I'm not even dead, and I can't do it. And please, if you could just help me. And the only way that he can do that is to give in to her request to kill her. And so we find ourselves in this film, the film version versus the game, where that is another aspect of a conversation, again, depending on which way the game goes for you. With the film, I think that I do agree with Ellis that some of the weight was lost because he did just straight leave. And instead of the grief being because he stayed, the grief is there because he left. And now he's like, I fucked this up. I fucked this whole thing up. I could have been here with you. I could have helped take care of you. And so she begs him in the film to kill her. Like, you came, you saw me, I love you, whatever. And they have their moment, and then he ultimately kills her. Again, not really a spoiler. I feel like we crossed that bridge ages ago. But I think my problem at that point is when it happened, some of that weight was shifted. But it's an end to the suffering, regardless, right? So once this occurs, James has his come to Jesus. And ultimately what happens is we get the water ending. And for those of you that don't know, Silent Hill 2, especially the remake, obviously had multiple endings. He's going to check the dog, Harrison. So ultimately we got several endings for the game. What they did is they basically combined the ending that I got, which was like the better, not the best, but the better of the endings. RGK, thank you for the follow. They kind of combined the better of the endings of like him being able to restart and have her and change the outcome of things, right? And like have that acceptance of I can still be with you, I love you, and all of these things. Thanks, Draven. But they did give us the water ending where he drives the car into the lake, into Toluca Lake. But what he does is after he kills her, he loads her body into the car, and they drive into the lake. And that's kind of the iteration of that. And then it comes back into a cyclical cycle where suddenly he's back into himself, and he's like, he almost has hit this semi, swerves, and then their storyline begins anew, except this time he goes in with the knowledge of like, I have this second chance for you now, and I can be here this time, right? So on one hand, I like cyclical endings. I like how there are wraparounds. I think that it was a sufficient cyclical ending for what it could be and the way that they had to tell the story based on the requirements, again with the acknowledgement that we're looking at a regular Gen Pop film that needs to be told with a story that needs to be told for those people versus trying to appeal to fans. So overall, I would say, come here.
That was not my intention.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Either jump up here or, okay. No, come here. You've got to come here. I can't help you.
He's in zoomy mode.
Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on, or I can't help you. Jump up. Jump up. Come on. Okay, there you go. So, I think overall, the other thing that I appreciated is that it wasn't a leggy bitch that Pyramid Head got his hands on in the scene where James hides in the closet, but they did do that scene, and it was a spider lady that was like a really cool fucking design. So
she did have hella ass.
She had hella ass.
Somebody commented that. She did in fact have hella ass.
Spider lady had hella ass. Like, Which, to be fair, her head was on the opposite direction of where the rest of her should have been, but like hella ass. So I do appreciate that they still kept that scene, because they did. Although, he beat the shit out of the spider lady, but the implications are still very strong, because he drug her off afterwards, but yeah. So overall, I would say, would I recommend seeing the film in theater? If you want something to do. Would I recommend waiting to see it and renting it on, stream? Sure. Don't go in with an extreme situation of, like, expectation, because there were a lot of things missed in terms of the game to the film translation. That's a weird spin on the entire plot. If he left her, then the root of his issue wasn't really there. In the same way, the bubblehead nurses with sexy bodies are based on his sexual frustration and symbolizing how having so many people treating her kind of blurs individuality. Maria looking like a sex worker version of Mary is his thirst for his wife that he couldn't touch anymore. I'm going to stop you for multiple reasons. The bubblehead nurses are in a lot of the games. They aren't always just an iteration of that concept. They did push it more so in the remake because, again, the leggy bitches and then also the spitters. So, like, they're wearing heels, right? So there's supposed to be that implication, which is also where you get Heaven's Night and all of that other stuff where it's a strip club, which Heaven's Night in the film was a club and not just, it wasn't a strip club. Yeah. I want to point out, though, that I don't feel, and Maria looking like a sex worker, brother, some girls just dress like that, but I get what you're trying to say. Maria was a representation of temptation regardless. That's still shown through. They just didn't need to really drive home that it was about, like, a root issue of being sexually deviant, I guess, if you wanted to put it that way. They didn't need to drive it home because anybody with 2 eyes and a brain cell could be like, oh, well, this was a struggle point. Like, it didn't need to be something that was end all be all. Yeah. Again, it was missed. I'm not going to deny that. But I also feel like based on conversations that were had and things that came out of James's dialogue for the film versus the game, it wasn't really fucking necessary. But I get what you're saying. I don't think it's weird. I don't, because again, you're changing some of the aspects to be palatable towards a general audience and not just the game. Yeah. Right? So we don't need everything to have been about, oh, James is so sexually frustrated. Like, sometimes you can tell a story without having that be the fucking entire focal point, because I saw somebody bitching about that on Twitter where they were like, well, but that was the whole point of the game. No, that was your interpretation of the whole point of the game. Actually, it's about a man coming to terms with the grief of a sick wife who ultimately is trying to figure out what is right and what is wrong in the end of these things. And yeah, Riley's correct. Like, each one has kind of their own implications of what's going on, but that's the point of the games. Basically not to drive the point home, but to have people have a sense of wonder. Right, exactly. If we tried to do everybody's idea of the game, there would have been a lot more foreskin. So pick your battles. Bafo, no! Baphomet, come in swinging. I appreciate specifically that you mentioned there would have been a lot more foreskin, which makes me wonder about you. I appreciate you, but, like, damn, brother.
I think I'm gonna have to get ready to take the child here in a minute.
Oh, he's trying to inquire about the cat, but, so yeah, ultimately, I mean, although you're not wrong, Crow, I just would argue that I think that there's a little bit of a difference. Spider with a BBL, please. Silent Hill, wrong foreskin. Not that we should be talking about multiple foreskins. Also, somebody asked, this is Sherlock Holmes. Oh, okay. Tell me a story. I know. It's almost dinner time for you, buddy.
I think that's part of why we're wallering.
I do think, though, would I recommend the film outside of anything else? Like, it's watchable. Don't go in having a come apart over it, or, like, expecting it to be God's gift to cinema as a translation from game to film. It is ultimately not a bad film. I would say for a regular person going in to watch it, it's probably like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6, because it sometimes didn't make sense for a regular person watching it, where they tried to appeal more so to the fans, and then there's points where they tried to appeal to the general population, and it pulled away from aspects that would have appealed to fans. It's a 50-50. So like 6.5, 7 maybe for regular people, maybe 7, maybe 8 if you're really pushing it, only because I really like the translation of some of the visuals. The practical effects were solid. The CGI needed a little bit of Jesus, but again, I want to remind everybody that this was a film that was worked on a very minimal budget in comparison to what they expect. I heard Spider BBL before scrolling away and came back to talk about foreskins. You're welcome. Welcome. That's pretty standard for this chat. I never read into Silent Hill at all. I thought it was about spooky monsters. I mean, it is. Kind of. It is about spooky monsters, but it's about spooky personal monsters. 23 mil, that's not a lot. Not compared to budgets nowadays. Most films are made off of extensive budgets. Like billions. He's a good boy. But yeah, I think watch it if you'd like, but also don't yuck anybody's yum, and understand that this is kind of how Hollywood has to navigate things. I don't agree to it. I think had this been an independent film, that it would have really, it really would have allowed for some pretty phenomenal shit, because they wouldn't have had a timeline. They on terms of the film itself, like the feature length, they wouldn't have had a timeline on it or a specific point. They could have adjusted things and changed things. I would have loved more practical effects. You know, they did the best that they could, but I would have loved definitely more practical effects, more of a clarification and more of iteration on the varied storylines between Angela and Eddie. Not that they played a point of it, but still. Followed the Blumhouse model. Crazy. That's where the big VG adaptations still are in big 2025. I have opinions about Blumhouse and some of their approaches to certain films and the things that they decide to do, but I feel like I am an asshole if I say those things out loud. And I already can barely get jobs, so let me just...
Speaking of assholes, I am going to...
Shoot, asshole!
Go take this one and give him dinner.
You gonna have dinner, buddy? Yeah. You can bring him in here. He'll eat. If you want to just bring him.
Will he stay not being a problem?
If you put it right there and you put his food down, he'll eat. So yeah, I think overall, yeah, go in with low expectations. That's pretty much it. I think the biggest thing is remember that we're in this weird era of stuff where people need to exert their opinion on everything all of the time, forever and ever, whether it's film or music or people or shit that's going on in the world. Like, you have to have your opinion out there. And there are some people where it's like, if you don't agree with my opinion, you're fucking wrong and you're stupid. Unfortunately, we are also in a position, though, where that also can sway people's opinion, instead of just experiencing things for themselves and going into it being like, hey, I heard Rotten Tomatoes put it at a 20%, or I heard that these 10 fucking influencers hated it and it was horrible and it was ass. I think that there have been times, especially for myself, and I think a few of you maybe will agree too, where there are things that you experienced for yourself and loved it or really liked it for varied reasons, whatever the reason may be, right? You really loved this thing and you got to experience it. But then you came back and you noticed that other people around you were like, this was ass, this was, and just shit on it, right? I think what's important is to remember in those moments that sometimes some shit just isn't meant for fucking everybody. Sometimes some of that shit is just for you, man. And you are allowed to love and experience those things and enjoy them without being hyper-focused on how critical some people are and how severe and negative the reception of something ultimately could be. Like, you don't have to play into that. You don't have to be a part of that. And Boffo made a point, too. You don't have to be a critic. You're allowed to like what you like. Fuck anybody who says otherwise. That's completely correct. Jason X is except you. Jason X, except you. No. I'm fucking with you. I read the novelization of Jason X. I'm not allowed to ever have an opinion about it. But that's exactly what I mean. Plaque, thank you for the follow. There are a lot of people who will always have those perceptions of certain things. That's not their vibe. That's this, that's that, whatever. And it is fucking okay. But you also don't have to play into those opinions of things. And if you're one of those people who are like, yeah, it was dog shit. Cool. Great. Thank you for telling me it was dog shit. I don't care. Yeah. Well, and actually that kind of...
Baffa's talking about Low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low was fucking phenomenal. I consider Low, if you guys haven't seen Low, actually, can I pull up the trailer for Low so you guys know what I'm talking about? Hold on. I don't know. I feel like I've played this for some of you before.
Brother, it is empty.
Now I wanna point something out for this. I'm gonna play you guys a trailer for the film that Baphomet just mentioned. This is a film called Low. That's L-O. I loved it. It is technically a full feature film. It's all practical effects. It is what I call a black box film. And what I mean by that is, there's a theater style of performance that is called a black box. And it is mostly reliant on actors telling the story with their emotions, their bodies, their voices, the way that they're interacting with each other. Because there's no true representation of, like, film sets and changes of things. And, like, it all takes place in ultimately one room, right? So, but yeah, I want to show you this trailer really quick. Hold on, because I love this film. I fucking love it. And it's wild. Bafo, like, you're a fucking G, dude, because it is wild to hear somebody mention it who is not just me. So, kudos. All right, I want to watch this, though. So, this is the trailer for Low. Actually, hold on 2 seconds. Let me fix the settings. This may be as high as it goes. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Why wasn't she honest with you? She obviously didn't trust you enough with the truth.
She was ashamed of it.
Or she had an agenda and she knew exactly how to play you.
No.
Yeah.
All you had was her. And she knew that.
No, we worked because we were different.
You worked because that's the way she wanted it. She needed a place to hide.
It's a love story.
You were nothing but a fake mustache. Shut up! Ah!
You summoned me for love.
I went to see her.
So
Hold
I'll
your
just
beer.
reach down into the ass of hell and get her for you.
She was taken by something like you.
What's it about?
It's about a guy who sells his soul to the devil for knowledge and power.
There's nothing to know.
Oh yeah? You been there?
No. Never.
What? Oh, the face. Right.
This is good stuff.
That demon
This is
such
the
an
biz,
asshole.
how we operate.
I'm a demon. I can do anything.
Which he's meant to be. He's literally a Nazi.
A demon should never entertain the idea that love is the answer to its question.
You love me.
Thank you for the follow. So, I loved this film, and I love that Baphomet brought it up. It is very, very indie art house. It is very indie film. A lot of metaphor, a lot of discussion about Faust. Like, there's several things that come into play. And if you are a person who was a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel and stuff like that, like, you'll recognize some of the visual and prosthetic effects for the demons are very like Buffy/Angel adjacent. So I thought it was phenomenal. And it actually Baphomet bringing it up is artistic comedy horror twisted into a love story. That's a great way to put it. Recommend it. If you guys haven't seen it, it's an older film, a little hard to find, but it is great if you can find it. I think that the point, though, is that is a good example where the budget was really low and there's a lot of missed opportunity because this was an independent film where a fantastic story was able to be told, but it was missed by broad view. And this unfortunately happens a lot. There were also a lot of films that were within a line to have been fantastic. The Cell with Jennifer Lopez and Vincent D'Onofrio, and Vince Vaughn is a really good example of that as well, which is where they go. It's one of my favorite films ever. But I bring it up because that was more of like a Hollywood tiered film for horror. But the visuals were fucking stunning. It was beautiful. It was very, very artistic in the way that they chose to approach it. But it did not get, I feel like, the reach that it should have because it was a film that ultimately people went to see and were like, oh, this is like, it just, some of it went over their heads. It's simultaneously very metaphor heavy and very art heavy. I feel like it would have done very fucking well now versus then, because a lot of the meta elevated horror seemed to be kind of the thing that people were looking more for and like looking more into. And I do feel like that was a film that maybe it missed its timeline, you know. I have not seen 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, but I have heard good things. I need to catch up to 28 years. Ellis and I both do. Ellis is weird about zombie movies, but 28 Days / that series was like one of the few he's cool with.
Oh yeah, it's because Cillian's in it. But
you want to say that a little bit more into the mic?
Cillian Murphy is the only reason that I watch those movies, which is why I'm not terribly interested in the newer ones, but I'm still down to watch them.
I love Iguana Godzilla. Yes. Watch Glorious. Actually, that's, since we're on the subject, and Ellis is back for 2 seconds, we just watched Dust Bunny last night, which is one of Brian Fuller's new features.
It's his debut movie.
Yes, debut feature film.
Yeah.
But Mads Mikkelsen obviously is in it. But we watched that last night, and initially, like, they do a really good job of not really telling you what the fuck is going on in the trailers.
Yeah.
Like, a really good job. So if you guys haven't watched Dust Bunny, I will admit that it's on stream, I think, Valkian. I don't know if Australia's streaming system is different. But I loved Dust Bunny. It was actually kind of a really interesting, an interesting setup, I think, above anything else. So yeah. I will talk about that if you guys have had an opportunity to watch, but I will say that Dust Bunny was enjoyable. Very, very high fantasy, very visually stimulating. The colors, the choices that they made in cinematography, it was beautiful. It's very good. If you get the chance, though, Valkian, I definitely recommend it. Glorious is apparently... Do you know when it came out? Oh, God. Oh, I saw the... Okay, so Glorious... Hold on, I kind of want to watch the trailer for this. I don't think I watched the trailer for this. Oh, no, because it's the dude that plays in fucking, it was the guy from True Blood. Hold on, wait, maybe I have seen this. Give me a second. We're gonna watch this trailer together, because So Baphomet said Glorious, I guess, is the way to go. So let's see what we've got here for this trailer.
Hi, it's Brenda. I'll call you back.
Hey, Brenda, it's Wes calling you again. I just needed to hear your voice.
I love you very much.
Belt buddy. And it's a Shudder original.
You know, some things may seem broken.
Been there.
Usually just means you stop trying.
Everything all right over there, my friend?
I'm not much of a bathroom talker.
You're not in the least bit curious as to what I have to say.
I'm just not into conversations with random dudes hiding out in bathroom stalls.
I don't want to talk to a dude who's shitting. Like, what do you mean?
No one is coming to help you, friend.
Anybody! So you're a guy living in a rest stop bathroom in a stall.
What?
Glory hole adjacent.
What do you mean?
I am he. I am that God. The universe has a favor to ask.
What?
You need to satisfy my physical form.
Okay.
There's only one part of you that can do that.
I'm not doing it. I don't care how many people it saves.
Total annihilation of all life in the universe.
Your feelings.
This is wild.
Pure and raw. That's what I need from you.
What did you do, Wes?
Makes me wish I'd driven the extra 40 miles to the next rest stop.
That wouldn't have helped.
Why? Is there a troll living in that one?
No, he's real for that. That's a fair question. I feel like that's a fair question. So that is glorious. And basically, after a breakup, Wes ends up at a remote rest stop. He finds himself locked inside the bathroom with a mysterious figure speaking from an adjacent stall. Soon, Wes realizes he's involved in a situation more terrible than he could ever imagine. So that's my kind of shit, I will admit. I like films that have that strange, ambiguous type vibe. So I'm here for that. And it's a short film. But again, that's actually another really good example of like indie horror budget type black box film. Like you have the one actor that and it seems to me, Baphomet, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to only take place pretty solely in that, which means the driving factor of that film is going to be the conversations between the two characters in question, one of which you never even really see. I love shit like that because it gives actors an opportunity. Also, Coco, thank you for the follow, and CMU, thank you for the follow. I love shit like that because it really gives actors an opportunity to showcase kind of those abilities to go back and forth. There's maybe 10% that is non-bathroom. Yeah, so it's like Low. So it's really, and even then, Low was transitional because you had those moments where like it was built up as if it was a theater production. So I like that. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Movies like that prove that you don't have to have a massive cast to make a good fucking film. If you have a baller ass fucking script, some solid ass actors, like minimal of one, but you have some solid ass actors and the ability to tell a really good story, that will carry everything for you. Like, you could have one actor, but if that actor knows and is invested in the story, the script is fucking baller, and it is a good goddamn story, you could have minimal scene transition with one actor and tell an amazing fucking story. Yes, very much so. John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness. Yes. Have you ever seen The Man from Earth? It's a one-room story about a group of friends finding... I feel like... Isn't that an older one? No, wait, no. Demonic's right for that. Wait, stop. As a Freddy vs. Jason fan, alright, openly admitted, music can carry a bad film. Like, the film can be horrible, but if you have a banger fucking soundtrack, some moments are forgivable. Like, some of it is forgivable. I am a victim of I just wanted a really baller soundtrack to this horrible film. So, like, fair enough, dude. I'm not gonna shit on you for that one, because that's actually it's a very valid point. But, anyway, music carried the entire Halo franchise. I think that there's people in chat that would argue, but yes. Do we watch this movie or do we rave to it? Some of them aren't rave music. Some of it's trash can kicking music. And From Earth is 2007. Okay, so we'll have to check that out. The Godzilla soundtrack was solid. That's also fair. But I feel like majority of those early 2000s films had that ability to have banger fucking soundtracks. Whether it was a good movie or a bad movie, that was where we got a lot of like the punk and the alternative push and a lot of the things that came to pass from that. So like, fair enough, dude. And then there's Adam Sandler. Different. Again, I'm biased because Little Nicky is also one of my favorite films. So, Queen of the Damned. Yes, Queen of the Damned actually is a fantastic... I don't want to talk about fucking Ghost Ship. You're an asshole. I know why you brought up Ghost Ship. You're a piece of shit and I can prove it mathematically, but I appreciate you. Shelby, thank you for the subscription with Prime. Thank you. The one with the evil guy. Which one? Also, yes. The soundtrack to Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I still haven't watched it. Am I a bad person if I haven't seen Ben Affleck's Daredevil? I feel like I'm not a bad person for that. Vixie, thank you for the follow. Yes, true. That's true. I was giving you shit, buddy. No, you're fine. You're good. I know you were referring to the music. Were you not the one who gave me shit about never mind. Maybe you weren't. Ghost Ship is a love-hate relationship with me because Ghost Ship is ultimately a terrible fucking film, but the fucking soundtrack is so goddamn good, I will never escape it. We do have an ad break coming in about 40 seconds. Please don't go anywhere. We're just chilling right now. I did have a plan to game, but I don't really know what happened to that plan, so we're here now, and I guess we're vibing, and that's fine by me. The evilest one who's in jail. Colin Firth in Daredevil. Was he? I'm giving you the rock eyebrow. That's fair. I like both of the DMC animes. I cannot condone the remake, but I'm not going to bring that up here. I paused the movie and made Pumptacular guess who did the song at the end of Godzilla 1998, and I was laughing because she got it immediately. Honestly, though, Pom's a baby. I think that's fair. It hit differently with the two different cuts. Again, still haven't seen it, so maybe I'm the shit for that. I don't really know, but I'm here for that.
Look at this.
Daredevil has two... Hold on. What the fuck? What do you mean? Daredevil, Ben Affleck soundtrack. So I need to know. What is the fucking... Holy shit. Fuels Won't Back Down, The Callings For You, Caught in the Rain by Revis, Bring Me to Life, and My Immortal and Evanescence. There's all 3 songs were omitted from release on the album. Nerd's Lap Dance, Dara Schindler's Far Away, and House of Pain's Top of the Morning to Ya. Get the fuck out! No, it didn't. Hold up. Won't Back Down, Fuel, For You, The Calling, Bleed For Me by Saliva, Hang On by Seether, Learn the Hard Way, Nickelback, The Man Without Fear, Drowning Pool featuring Rob Zombie. That is a banger. Right Now, Nappy Roots featuring Marcos of P.O.D., Evening Rain by Moby, Evanescence, Bring Me to Life, Until You're Reformed, Chevelle, Right Before Your Eyes, Hoobastank, Fade Out, Palo Alto, Caught in the Rain, Revis, Highwire Escape Artist, Boy Sets Fire, Raise Your Rifles, Autopilot Off, the Daredevil theme, My Immortal, Evanescence, Sad Exchange by Finger 11, Simple Lies, Endo, and Let Go, 12 Stones. Get Out. What the fuck is this soundtrack? Bro, they did the integral piece. It sounds like a high school playlist. That's exactly where I was like, damn, all they're fucking missing is fucking some Linkin Park. I feel like they missed a golden opportunity to throw Linkin Park in there, and it would have been just, that's it. That would have been it. I'm both it's 2000 angst incarnate. Cassie's right. Like, you're not beating the allegations. You're not gonna beat the allegations. I think sometimes we've officially missed the point of being able to have those banger fucking soundtracks anymore. Like, it's just that the moment is gone. It is past. I'm sad. It makes me sad. I'm missing me sulking in my hoodie while eating curly fries in the lunchroom. Curly fries with nacho cheese. Or hot Cheetos with nacho cheese, I feel like. We used to burn CDs in a ritual to befriend someone on a higher level. That's true. Smell the leather and the Axe body spray. Linkin Park, Skillet, Slipknot, Five Finger Death Punch, the Older Brothers bedroom playlist. Jesus Christ. Curly fries with chocolate milk. I'm out. You guys, every soundtrack was a glorified mixtape. That is valid. Digital Clubhouse is right for that. I had my 2000s nu metal flashback with the band Bleed in their debut album. I'll have to give that a listen. I feel like a lot of mild nacho cheese or jalapeno. It depends. It depends on how I'm feeling. Nickelback was busy with Spider-Man. Otherwise, it's the 2003 Locker Room playlist. It's true, though. I mean, Demonic's not entirely wrong. I feel like a lot of the early 2000s horror worked because of the prosthetic effects, the special effects, And then the soundtracks, like the high school banger soundtracks that came through, because like you had shit like Wrong Turn, the remake of Hills Have Eyes, you had fucking like Valentine and My Bloody Valentine, and like the list goes on. Jack Frost was, I think, like late 90s, early 2000s, I want to say. Was like 98, I think. No, not Jack Frost. Like Frost. Like it's the fucking the horror film, not the kids film. No. Jack Frost, the fucking horror film. Yeah, it was 97. So like, yeah, yes, the killer, not the kid, the killer, not the kids film. It's just two different films. But one song that would have been perfect for the Daredevil was the Dance by the Devil by Breaking Benjamin. I feel like, yeah, that came out later. Oh, it's so bad. Yes, yeah, that one. The Killer Snowman. In my defense, as someone who has done voices for, like, indie horror of that variety, i.e. Carousel 3, like, I mean, you've got films. It's interesting how we transitioned from having films on an indie capacity that were, like, meant to be less serious, like Sharknado and shit like that, where it's still horror, but it's, like, a weird mix of comedy horror. But now we have films like Killer Couch and fucking Rubber came out. Like, I feel like there was a time period where they picked an inanimate object and then desperately needed it to have a creative way to start killing people. And that's fine. I'm not gonna fight. That's not my fight to have. But I just think it's interesting that we transitioned into having inanimate killer objects for a short period. They were trying so hard to make Jack Frost be Freddy Krueger knockoff. I mean, a lot. So I will defend this. A lot of the... I feel like a lot of the films that came in that 90s to early 2000s period were films that they wanted talkative, sarcastic killers, right? So, like, not that Chucky wasn't always that way, but the 80s slashers, like Chucky and Freddy, Leprechaun, right? So those were classic slashers that talked shit. Jason and Michael were our big silent dipshits. Like, love them to death if you're one of those fans. That's fine, I get it. But, like, they were our silent, lovable dipshits. And then, of course, you've got Scream, where, again, we're kind of revisiting, depending on which killer you're looking at, we had that kind of sarcastic interaction. I mean, so Pumpkinhead is one of Ellis's favorites, right? Ellis loves Pumpkinhead. And Pumpkinhead was not even during that time period. I think Pumpkinhead's official release was, like, the late 80s. So, yeah. So the original film was 1988. So Pumpkinhead was also in that same line. And Pumpkinhead never really had, like, verbal lines, right? But Pumpkinhead's actions told a lot about how he was this very shitty, like, sarcastic piece of shit. Like, Pumpkinhead was very, very body engaged sarcasm. And yeah, Warwick Davis played the original Leprechaun, but I do admit that Jay's not entirely, like, Jay's kind of correct on that. Leprechaun and Chucky both, I feel like, had their runs for sarcasm. And no, the sequels don't exist. We don't talk about the sequels. And yes, having had to narrate the entire log up to the fucking, like, the television series for Chucky that came out, having narrated the documentary for that, I'm gonna tell you, Chucky had a wild fucking history of shit. So, like, between some of the stuff that occurred during filming and just how they wanted to like, structure Chucky, he's gotta be on that list. Leprechaun in the Hood was wild. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that one... No. That was wild. Admittedly. Have a good night. So, anyway, I don't really know how we got here. I'm so sorry. He didn't he? Wasn't there, like, a White House stint in the Chucky TV show? I don't know. To be honest with you, I never wound up watching the TV show, but I heard a lot of shit about it. Remake Leprechaun with the actor for Tyrion? Oh, his name is gone. He was just in the Dexter resurgence. Peter Dinklage. Thank you. Yes, Peter Dinklage. I don't know why, but, like, more power to the people being here for me just talking shit, because that's pretty much all this has been. So, like, welcome. For those of you that are here but haven't been here before, I'm Autumn Ivy. Usually we're playing indie horror games or things like that. Sometimes we're bullshitting with friends, but in this particular instance, we got on a rant and a tirade about films today, specifically horror films, because we were talking about Return to Silent Hill, which, if you want, I will have a VOD probably about this chat up on YouTube at some point, but you're welcome to go back and watch that. All of my stuff is at autumnivyofficial.com. That includes all of the spots to find me, socials, subscription locations, and everything else. I voice act, I've done IRL stuff, I put on costumes, I pick up heavy stuff, I put it back down, I do a lot of shit. I also have merch at autumnivy.com, but I still have not watched Toxic Avenger. I do need to work on that one. I don't mind film talk and, like, bullshit as long as I feel like there's a relevant drive and it's not something that I can peter out on and, like, not find shit to talk about. Then we're good. Thankfully, though, majority of this has been fine. It's made from the people that made Terrifier. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I don't want to say that that's necessarily production, distribution, and ultimately, like, writing and whatnot is a little different. I would not go so far as to say that. My understanding, though, is, like, Macon Blair directed that. But, like, from an SFX perspective, I think it was the same... Let me look. It might have been the same distribution. I can tell you. Let me look. Yeah, I have a feeling it was distribution. I also just refuse to say it's from the same people. Yeah, it's production. No. Yeah. So Valkian's on it. No, you're good. And it wasn't a dig. I just have personal feelings for, like, being said, oh, it's made by the same people as, and then inserting Terrifier. I can't. But I have opinions about that, and I've discussed it prior. But I do think that it's really important to kind of note that production companies a lot of the time will utilize that as a hire piece. Hello, Turbo. They'll utilize that as a way to elevate a film because they were like, oh, you guys are really into this thing? Let me give you this thing. Yeah. We did. We talked about Terrifier, I think, last week, but that comes with the point. You know what I'm really fucking mad about, though? I will say this, and part of it comes from the Terrifier conversation, so I just want to point out that this is Mr. J's fault, clearly. Clearly it's Mr. J's fault. How is it that everybody ranted and raved about having, like, oh, look at the new slasher, isn't this so fucking great? Brr, 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 talking about Art the Clown. Where the fuck? When are we talking about the creepypasta movie? Like, actually, Spike, are you gonna subject me to that? Are you gonna make me watch that? And are we actually gonna... I don't know if I want to do that, brother. Like, I don't know if I can do that. We don't need to watch your piss tapes. Hey, whoa. Hey, hold on. No. You guys are so fucking rude. Co-starring a jellyfish. I like how they promoted the movie Him as a Jordan Peele movie, even though he just produced it. Yeah, that's a prime example. So I didn't know that. And nor did I care. Like, I didn't give a fuck about the Jordan Peele aspect of him. I wanted to see it for a different point. I liked him, by the way. I think there's some differences and arguable, but still. I don't know if I want to watch the creepypasta movie, Spike, and I'm mad you brought it up, but here we are. Also, I should give you a shout out. So, I think that... Is this creepypasta the one where the guy watches different short movie clips? I don't know. I know that it was like a 2023. Speaking as someone in it, it's really bad and I can't sit through it. Spike, no! I forgot. Oh god, I forgot that you had like a fucking... Oh no. Trapped in a... Wait, are we here? You guys, so we've been watching the trailers. So you guys know that we have to watch the trailer, right? Like, you did this. You did this. I don't know if I want to do this. Okay. So, everybody agrees that this is Spike's fault, right? We're all under agreement that this is Spike's fault that we have to watch this trailer? Okay, great. So, this is the creepypasta trailer from 2023. Oh. It's going well so far. It's good. Okay. Not the finger. What even was that trailer? Was that the legitimate trailer? What even was that trailer? What do you fucking mean? No. Is that it? Was that... No, it isn't. Is that it? For real? Spike, don't fucking lie to me. Oh my god, no, that's the trailer. Yeah, because there's Spike's channel right there. Mr. PP Pastor himself. This guy. This absolute shit show. What the fuck, Spike? I'm so angry that you just subjected me to 45 seconds I'll never get back of a trailer that doesn't even make sense. Our horror movie has horror stuff in it. Shaggy's right. That's what it feels like. Time to dump him. You guys know I can't leave your father. I'm not allowed. Either of your dads. I can't leave either of your fathers. That was a trailers trailer. That felt like the Red Band trailer, but like with everything deleted out of it. Like they were just like, I can tell you the whole story. It's a pretty interesting story about how the movie came together. Do you want to get on a call and tell the story? I mean, I'm down if you want to tell everybody the story. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get Spike on the call so that he can tell the story of the creepypasta movie for the 45-second trailer that we just were subjected to. Hold on, I'll find you. Alright, I'm grabbing you. Let me know when you're ready. I'm just a little confused, is all. So, like, I'm kind of interested. There's a new shark movie coming out. Oh, no. I'll have to tell. So, shark movies are Ellis's thing, so I'll have to tell Ellis that there's a shark movie coming. It was everyone listening to Chilling commercial. Oh, God. Oh, I guess now's a good time to say that. So, by the way, just so we're clear, and I need to double check this, because I forgot to mention it. So I am no longer doing stories for Chilling, just so you guys are aware. They were ultimately supposed to pull all of the stories that I have narrated, for Chilling app. So don't expect to find any new stories on Chilling. If you're subscribed, just know that I'm not doing stories for them anymore, nor am I associated with them any longer. If you still want to listen to stories or something of the like, assuming that they still do that sometimes, I don't know, because the only thing I've ever seen them advertise lately is films. So whether they're doing no stories or not, I couldn't tell you. All I can simply tell you is that if you're looking for a specific narrator, that promoting and supporting that narrator directly may be the way to go if you're looking for specific stories. So just be aware of that. But Spike is here to tell us about the creepypasta film of the 45 seconds that you just wasted.
The 45 seconds, yes. So first things first, am I allowed to talk shit about Crypt TV, or is that a sponsor of yours?
I mean, so the beauty of me forgetting to read emails from people that are supposed to be sponsors is that I don't get paid. I don't get paid because they don't sponsor me because I don't read the emails. Also, do they still exist? Are they still alive? Like, are they breathing?
I'm certain they are. They have to. They were Eli Roth project. They were angel invested by Eli Roth, so I'm sure they exist.
I haven't seen anything from them. That's the only reason I say that.
Yeah, well, okay. So I'm gonna drop a little. Okay. So
I love how you've started this story already, like 15 different ways.
So this requires a little bit of context about Crypt TV. Okay. I've worked with Crypt TV in the past. Yeah. And when I worked with them, they were really cool.
Right.
That being said, like, they were really cool when I worked with them years and years and years ago. Main reason they were very cool is because I knew their promotional team.
Right.
And they had a very good sight of what made horror popular.
Right.
This is also the time, if you guys remember characters like the Look-See or characters like those kinds of big like Crypt TV monsters.
The Birch.
That was the production team.
Yeah.
Yeah. They knew, like, or the promotion team. They knew. They basically buy out licenses to run short films for an extended period of time.
Right.
If they do well, they will then just pay for the entire rights of the creature or the story or the video or whatever have you.
Right.
And they will just keep it. This is how all the monsters came to be. This is how all the videos came to be. Now, Vincent Vinicava, one of my really good friends and a fantastic writer I've worked with for years, also had a character that he had created and a short film that he had created that got picked up by Crypt TV. It was a really good short. I can't remember what exactly the thing of it now. I just remember like the visuals, but it was really well put together, and it was used for a short time. Then they wanted to buy the rights. I don't know the full details of this. Apparently, the numbers were not adequate, so he pulled out, which is totally understandable on both parts. This is what happens. This is working in film.
Yeah, business is business, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently, when he learned about this, he contacted a couple of other people who didn't want to sell the rights permanently, and just licensed them for a movie.
Right.
That's the movie, the trailer that you guys just saw. So that film was financed and put together entirely by Vincent Vinicava, including everything else. There's a couple of, I was in a short film for that one and in the framing device for it. I got fucked up in the framing device for it too, because the actor I worked with missed the pad when doing a stunt and landed on my shoulder.
Oh no!
Oh yeah. So I think they keep that one too. So you see him like jump at like full body kick into my shoulder off, like I'm off camera, but you could see the part where he like left a huge bruise on my arm. It was very fun.
Safety.
But no, it was fully financed. So it's a collection of short films because these were all films that had been either with Crypt TV had an interest in them or things like that.
Right.
I want to say they're not, like, the short films themselves are not all bad. I think there's definitely some of them that have potential to them. There's some of them you could see had a vision and then lost it halfway through. The major like losing point on it though is that it uses the name creepypasta, but it doesn't have
core creepypasta
really any reference to it. Yeah, it doesn't really have any real reference to creepypastas. except for me being in it.
You. I like how
so
you're like, I am the creepypasta in this film.
Yeah, that's me. That's the namesake. Is the creepypasta movie is that I'm in it, and I don't play myself in it at all either. I do play other characters, so it's neat. I'll say that like I mean I bought it because why wouldn't I?
You gotta support the thing that you're in, dude. Like you can't.
Yeah, I bought it. I'm in it. I bought it and like during one family reunion. I think you had left by the time they did this.
Probably.
But Steph had put it on because she wanted to see it. She hadn't seen it. Okay. I couldn't sit through it. I was too embarrassed by the project entirely that I just couldn't sit through it. And I mean, to say like it is a bad movie, and I don't want to say that it's like, oh, this is not something that's worth anybody's time to watch or anything like that. Because I think Vincent did put a lot of love and care and time and money into making this.
Right.
And it as a passion project that is, you know, it's a video that it's a movie that he made, produced, and it's like up on Amazon. It was #1 on the streaming service when it came out. I forget which streaming service it was.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that's great. Especially for a first time project, but it's not like it's not, you're not going to get
okay. So let's clarify. I feel like it's really important to put the point in. One, you want to support the homies, like of course.
Of course, yeah.
I think that acknowledging that, because any project to a certain degree, I don't want to say that because Stranger Things season 5 happened, but certain projects where time and effort and energy.
Some projects, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of love has
been. Well, okay, like there's a different thing between a project that is made by one guy who's a friend of mine. Right. I can recognize the effort put in, and another made by a multi-billion-dollar company that really should have been made.
Well, and I think we were kind of touching on that subject a little bit ago too. Like, I don't know if you were in chat when we did, but there is a very distinct point with a lot of these indie films where you can tell a really good fucking story on a minimal budget with minimal actor base and even minimal locations and still have it be phenomenal if you have that interaction and that chemistry, right? Like, obviously, like, and again, Vincent's never been anything but fucking cool to me, so, like, I'm down. That's good. I think that the hard part for films like that, though, is also from a perception of marketing. Like, that trailer did not make me want to watch that movie. And I'm being realistic, but it's also kind of to the point where it's like, that sucks, because now it's like you just said, there are shorts within this film that are they're really good, but then you also lose them to the ones where they kind of had the trajectory but then fell flat, or, you know, again, from marketing, it just, this movie was not well marketed. I remember hearing about it, and the only reason I heard about it was because of you. So that's kind of to the point also, because I never even saw the trailer. The only reason I would have seen the trailer is literally because of you.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Well, I like how you're just like, yeah. There's only so much you can do on a limited budget, and in this case, I didn't realize that Vincent had the brunt of cost, which is also kind of important.
Oh, absolutely he did. Yeah, absolutely he did.
There's a lot of shit where there's only so much that you can do on a specific budget line with limited. I mean, and I mean this with as much love as I can possibly muster. But Bittertooth is another really good example of this, where Bittertooth was done with an extremely limited budget system, an extremely limited timeline. We filmed Bittertooth and I filmed all my shit in a week. It was done within 2 weeks, which is fucking-sane for a feature.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Monty did all of the filming and all of that shit, in 2 weeks' time, which is nuts. On, not even 5. It was, a 4-figure fucking budget. It was nuts. Anyway, really limited. Limited. So the fact that Vincent was able to do what he did in the first place is commendable. I will never shit on that, because that alone is
hard. It took a long time too. I didn't say this, but I think from the point of when we did the first short to when it was actually over,
yeah,
it had been something like 3 years' time. Because, like, it just getting the production, getting the distribution, getting the next parts of it, framing devices, getting all of the licenses done. It took a long time.
Well,
So he put a lot of effort into this.
And creepypasta as a whole is rough because you're kind of stuck in this catch-22 where you're dealing with licensing, not just from like the film itself for licensing, but literally which stories were selected, which characters were used, like how is this in perpetuity with the owners of the characters and the owners of the stories. Like there's a lot to it in terms of the legality and like transfers of ownership and other wild shit. So like he also was kind of contesting with that aspect on top of everything else. So I'm sure that was its own shit show. Yeah, Ray.
Oh yeah, there's like a nightmare of like creepypasta monsters, which is how the reason why he didn't get involved in monster stuff.
Yeah,
was because the if you wanted to, there's so many like large production companies like Sony and Paramount that have their fingers dipped into like Slenderman and Jeff the Killer, and those characters that would be the most recognizable creepypasta monsters. So that's just not a viable thing that he could have done.
Very much so. Well, and that's the hard part, right? Is it would be no different than, so like let's say in your instance, and this is the only saving grace for you, is if you ever decided to launch like an official backstory and storyline for your character, for the Blue Man in general, and like have it written and decide to produce something for him, literally your only saving grace is that he's yours. Otherwise, falling under the creepypasta name, like, you know what I mean?
I could reference nothing else. Yeah.
No, yeah, like you would not have the ability to be like, so that really tall, pale man with the tentacles in the woods. How about that guy? Like, I mean, that would be kind of funny, but maybe that's just my.
That would be fun. Yeah, dude, off-brand everything.
Maybe that's my humor, like Temu Slenderman, like.
Hang on.
No!
Hang on,
Spike,
you're onto something.
Spike, no!
Hang on, you're onto something.
No!
Hang on.
Oh my god, instead of Jeff the Killer, it's like Jay the... No, I can't say that either.
Yo, he's gonna Jeff the Kill You. I think that's taken by Spirit Halloween, not Jay the Killer.
Jeff the Kill You.
He's gonna Jeff the Kill You.
That narrow boy.
Already like Stranger Things season 5. Let me get ChatGPT.
Oh, God, please. And then you have like... Oh, it would never end. It would just be a shit show. I mean, technically,
it'd be good.
It's the Scary Movie of creepypasta is ultimately what you're proposing.
So here's the thing. Yes. First of all, yes.
Jim Murder Man.
I think if somebody had made a scary movie just with internet horror, that would sell. If that was just a YouTube video, that would sell so well.
Spike. I'm just saying, April Fools is in April.
I am no comedy writer, ma'am.
Good news, buddy. Because the Legion provides and has a plethora of trash can writers that love turning shit posts into memes. Aw.
Oh yeah.
They said you're very funny, Dad.
Scary. I appreciate that
stuff. They call him Jimothy for short. Jim the Stabber. Jeffmathy the Murderer.
Jeffmathy?
Jim Dead Boy.
No AI stories, please. Yeah. Look, if it's good enough for Netflix.
Oh. So, to be clear, he's being sarcastic. But the also hello. We took a fake guy at a key party to a guy with a real backstory. That's true. That is true. They did create Steve. Like, that was all chat. I had nothing to do with that other than coming across. So, do you know about Steve, right? The lore of Steve.
No.
Okay.
Harrington?
No, wrong. No. So Steve, do you know what a key party is? Because I didn't until recently.
Yes, I know what how do you not?
I don't know how I didn't. Everybody else had the same question. I don't know, but I did now, and I do. I just thought it was really fucking stupid that you put your keys in a bowl and then you were just subjected to whatever piece of shit Honda you happen to draw, okay? But my
yeah, exactly.
but my point.
Look, there's that's like the whole goal party. You know what I'm saying? You ain't looking for a person.
Yeah, but that's gotta be okay. But the whole goal. So I came across a TikTok that was discussing how this girl wound up at a key party. And she had no idea. Like, she just got this invitation and she was like, oh, it's like a neighbor thing, right? Like, we're gonna chill, it'll be fine. And then she shows up and she's asked to provide her keys.
Well, she's not wrong.
No, but it's her and her husband. And so they're like, what the fuck? Okay, well, fine. So they start chilling. They have some drinks. They have some shit like that, right? Like, they're having snacks. And then all of a sudden, there's like this, oh, let's bring out the bowl. But then they're noticing that people are like touching each other and things are getting hella intimate. And they're like, this is not lunch. This is munch. What is this? So, as I watch this, I am now perplexed by the concept of a key party, to which chat then informs me of the true origin of key party, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was like,
wait, what do you mean origin? What do you mean origin? What?
Because I didn't know about key parties. So like, chat's explaining about the key party thing, and I'm like, damn, man. So I'm informed about orgies now that regard keys, and I'm like, what if you don't want what if it's some dude who's got like an insane diaper fetish, and you just show no hate to the people into that. That's your thing. But like, what if it's not your thing, and you happen to get that guy? Like, it's the last imaginable person that you would want as a partner.
You would have to be. Why do I know this?
Good question. Why do you know this?
Why do I know this? I know. Okay, so why do I know? You would generally like vet people that come into these things. Like, this isn't like hey, all doors open, just come in anytime you want. Like, this is you would.
But what if you go and like as a proprietor of the party, like, you vetted the people, but the conversation we got into was like, what if it's creepy Steve? So like, Steve, the origin of Key Party Steve, is that Steve started off, according to chat and my conversation, as this really creepy motherfucker who like had like this shitty 95 Honda Accord that was just a trash can, and like those are the keys that you wind up with, and he's just really weird. Like, he's like, hey, in the background, and you're like, damn, I got Steve's keys. But then somehow Steve turned into a legend, where it turns out that Steve has this immaculate backstory where like he had recently been broken up with and he was actually heartbroken, and he literally just showed up to try to make new friends because he was going out on a limb to just be himself for once. And like, I don't know how the fuck they did this, but they turned Steve into like this fucking legend where he's just a really nice guy. So now any opportunity they get, they bring up Key Party Steve, who is just a really good guy who was looking for a good time. He'll take you on a date. He'll give you flowers. He's down. But
why did we start calling him Creepy Steve? What did he do to us?
He was Creepy Steve because it started off that way. He was creepy, and then they made me feel bad. Chat was like, "Damn, Autumn, you're a bitch," and I was like, "Whoa, I didn't know."
Yeah, why would you treat Steve like that?
God damn it! I didn't. It started as a joke, and then it became serious. My 93 Accord is still running today. Most people's Honda Accords, which by the way are a dime a dozen in Arizona, are that way.
Is this the one?
He's only creepy because you didn't know him. That's kind of the point, though.
This one. So there's a story I did called My Wife Invited Another Woman into Our Bedroom.
What?
Yes. It's really good.
Okay.
This is why I know information. It is about an orgy. I don't know if I want to say key party, but orgy.
Okay.
And it's literally talks about that. Creepy Steve shows up. And a Creepy Steve is this guy who, like, so one of the rules about, like, their thing is, and again, like, this is why you, like, vet people, right?
Right.
It's not, Creepy Steve cannot just show up.
Okay.
If you're showing up, this is for couples.
Okay.
You come with a partner, and you can participate. like, or you can watch. You don't have to participate. Things like that, right?
Okay.
You could watch. You could hang out. You could just be a part of whatever. You don't have to participate. Well, Creepy Steve shows up.
Okay.
And he brings a doll.
Oh.
That he calls his partner, his girlfriend.
Oh. Okay.
And like, they were like, haha, this is funny joke, Steve. And he's like, no, seriously, I want to participate. And they're like, okay, joke less funny. You can't just do that, right? And like, he has like the doll in the garage when he brings it in. Like, this is my date. Like, you know, that kind of thing. And but he's like a weird twitchy guy. He's like, no, I want to participate. And eventually they kick him out. But of course, because like his date was left in the garage, she's still there. And like, they don't know what to do with her. Like, and like the wife is like, hey, you need to like take that thing out to the dump. It's creepy. But let's mess around. And then turns out the date, like the doll is a person.
Oh God. Okay.
But it's like, the doll is a person, but it's got like this infectious thing to it that makes people into like the plasticky doll thingies.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's really good. It's a really good story.
I feel like, so, and this is on your channel?
Yeah. This is like 4 years ago I did this one, yeah.
Okay, so this is if you guys want to listen to it, it's on Spike's channel. I will link his channel just so you guys have it. But apparently this is a story that he narrated at some point. Actually, what was it called? Let me see if I can find it.
It was called, I just found it. My wife invited another woman into our bedroom.
Okay. I will find the story and link. Oh, I found it. Wait, my wife, the artist. There's a lot of my wife stories.
Yeah, it became really popular, especially during like gross story like times. There's a lot. There's that one where like the spiders came out of her puss. It was great.
I will never. I feel like you told me about that one.
Probably.
Here we go.
Yeah, that was Max Lub.
Here we go.
That was Max Lubdell, and that was a fun story. That was actually like a legitimately pretty fun story.
I found the short. Hold on. It's somewhere in here. I know it is. You said it was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
There's a woman trapped in my basement. My wife invited another woman into our bedroom. I'm still paying
Yeah,
the
that's
price.
the one.
That's it?
That's the one. That's it.
Okay, good. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, here. You enjoy. Be free, everyone. Enjoy that. Oh, wait. That came from... Oh, wait. Wrong link. Hold on. I lied. That was the wrong link. That was somebody else's link.
I'll just link somebody else.
Don't watch that. Although I will also link shameless plug, but still on Spike's story, which means Spike makes the money. But shameless plug.
What are you doing?
I did narrate this one for Spike. The Date a Dead Woman for $89.99. That one was nasty as fuck too. I'm not gonna ruin it for you guys, but I did narrate a story for Spike quite some time ago that was called Date a Dead Woman for only $89.99. And I will tell you that it's something.
It's great.
It is something.
Great.
And I want to point out, so a lot of you are aware of this. Some of you who are here are not aware of this. When I narrate stories, whether they're creepypastas or anything else, I don't pre-read the material. I'm not that kind of person, right? I like to experience it as I go along. So if a story is handed to me, i.e. Spike, I will ask Spike and be like, okay, so the content's good. Because Spike knows, obviously, there's some things for TOS purposes you have to pay attention to, right? So Spike's good about that. And
I didn't tell you about that. Sometimes I do push the envelope for funsies.
No, you did not warn me about that one. Or the fucking chewing one, you piece of shit. But Spike hands me these stories sometimes, and he's like, oh, so we're cool. And I'm like, yeah, man, like, you know. So I trust this man. I trust Mr. Pee-Pee Pastor to not do me dirty. I proceed to narrate this story. We sure fucking are. I proceed to narrate Date a Dead Woman for $89.99, knowing full well that the probability that it is going to go poorly for me is there. Narrated it anyway, and then got to the end. And again, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. I'm not going to spoil it. It's 16 minutes of your time. 16 motherfucking minutes, okay? The ending. And that's all I'm going to tell you. I get to the ending of narrating this. I stop. I close all my shit down. I send the file to Spike. And then I sit in silence for a good 15 minutes. And I don't remember if I wound up ever messaging him afterwards. Did I message you after this one? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so. Why? Why? What? Did you have a problem? Did you not like the story? Was it...
Brother.
Was it not to your... was it not to your standards? Was it...
I'm gonna come for you in your nightmares. I'm gonna
Yeah,
grab
you will.
you. I'm gonna grab you by the back of your scruff like a sad dog. And that's how we're gonna do this from now on. Also, I did just link my wife invited another woman into our bedroom story from Spike's channel specifically. So if you guys are interested, you are welcome to give those a listen. That one is about 45 minutes, so if you're chilling or doing
That one is a long one, yeah.
But honestly, based on the setup that you gave me, I'm not mad about it. Fair enough. It sounds like
it is. I will say, like, it's despite it being like a sexual kind of story.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being like overly gross or things like that. I mean, clearly it has some sexual language, but it doesn't. It's not gonna be something against like YouTube TOS.
Yeah. Which again, that's kind of to the point. So like the border that you get with a lot of horror and like especially creepypastas and especially now with the way that the algorithm treats horror, it's so fucking hard. Like
Yeah. Well,
have to pay attention.
As a general rule, for my stuff, I try to avoid sexual violence as much as I can.
Yeah.
So those are not things I like to include at all in my content. The furthest I get is usually just really gross stuff.
Yeah.
Autumn knows that. It's just like stuff that you're just like, oh, why did you?
The fucking Ray just said, looking at the comments, Spike, you're a dick for making her read that. That's not, look, I'm gonna level though. Like, there's a couple stories that were really, really good that came from Spike. That, like, the story about Lazary is to this day one of my favorites, and I've talked about that.
Oh my god,
like,
that was so good. I really wish I could do more with that series.
It makes me so sad, but it's so the series that story came out of is actually, I think you did a couple from that series.
Yeah,
the detective series.
Infected Town.
Yes.
It's
Case
an
Files?
after, technically. Yeah. It's an after of the original Infected Town series.
Yes.
But I couldn't touch the original Infected Town, unfortunately, because it had like a publishing thing. Like it was licensed to a publisher.
Shit. Yeah. It unfortunately does happen. Yeah, Alex knows. Infected Town series. So with the Infected Town series, there was a story that he had me do that had to do with a character named Lazary, and to this day, like, it is one of my favorites. I loved the character, I loved the story, I loved the concept. Like, from an acting perspective, I haven't listened to it. Granted, I've changed a lot in the way I deliver shit, but I remember it being one of my favorites from an acting perspective too.
You still did, like, you've changed a lot, but the way you delivered for that character was 11 out of 10. That was just fantastic, dude.
It was weirdly personal, I think, from that one, which was good. But yeah, like, and then the zipper one. That's true. There was the zipper one, but there's the supermarket that he had me do, which that one was also gross. The cam girl story, which was gross. And then when I listened to it afterwards, I want to point out, everybody, that he reveals to me that he's eating fucking Doritos to make the sounds of chewing in the fucking background that is driving me insane.
Yeah. I remember this.
So do I. It's embedded in my fucking brain pan. Oh, see, Ellis even knows. Ellis popped up in chat and was like, the fucking sound effects. But no, that and then the supermarket one was wild. But like, there's a lot. So Spike has a lot of really solid, mix of stories on his channel. So if you guys do want to give those a listen, I know that we just did one. I think you did the one with Somnium with me, right? I think you were in that one too.
Somnium.
I think
I don't remember doing something with Dark. Oh wait, actually, yeah, probably.
It was so there are
with Dark Somnium.
Because I think there was one that TJ did, and then I think Somnium asked us to do one. Fuck, I'll have to look. So YouTube is doing this thing now, guys, where you'll notice, like, if Spike and I have done a story together, or if I've done a story, sometimes it will come up on the video section for, like, I forget what they call it now. It's like the joint collaborations. So like if you go
collaborations,
to my page, yeah, if you go to my page and you scroll all the way down, you'll see a section that says collaborations. And what it is it's sections where you have been tagged in a separate thing that someone else has posted. So if you scroll all the way down on my YouTube, there's a cosplay interview, but then there's the Horror from the Vault, which is a creepypasta story time that I did with Spike. The Hunt for Sturgeon Serial Killer, which I played some roles in, and then Shark Tank, which was another sturgeon story.
I wish we got it more Horror from the Vault, man.
It was
the one I did with you was that one I did with you was a redo of the first one because I really wanted to redo that one real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could have gotten Corpse back for that one because like in the original take I had Corpse do like for the first time on my channel he was there, but like I wasn't able to get him, but I was able to get you, and that's solid enough for me.
Wow,
but
man. Thanks.
That was such a good story. That's solid enough, man.
Take that, man.
That's the big name.
The bro. My guy. I like how you say Corpse, and then I'm sitting in the background like this tiny little chibi character from behind a tree who's like, hey, man.
How dare you?
I'm in the background. What's up?
No.
Spike,
okay.
They want to know, Spike, what's the worst one you've ever read that made you, like, gag? Oh, that's a good question. It's not the tapeworm, right? I feel like that one you read enough times that it's not the tapeworm.
The tapeworm's funny. Like, there's some that are, like, so Max wrote the most disgusting stories that I've ever done. Max Lobdell. And, I love Max's writing. Let me just straight up say that one. But the stuff where, what was it called? I think it was Slew? The Runners series, are probably the most gross stories that I have because it's basically the series with encountered a bunch of people where they just find these mushrooms, and these mushrooms like make you go crazy, and they are like growing out of people. They make your skin slide off of your body. They do all these things, but like the real the real thing about it that makes it like wow is that like all of the characters don't, because it makes them like lose their minds,
right?
They don't really like realize what they're doing is wrong, and they're still going about their daily stuff. So like there's like this guy who he's coming home to his wife after being away for so long, and they have, of course, this romantic and sexual tension that they've been building up because, you know, he's been gone for so long, and she bought these, like, mushroom, what's the word? Like aphrodisiac, which she's aphrodisiac mushrooms online. She's, like, so excited to show her husband. And then, like, when they're, like, having sex, like, her skin is sliding off of her body.
Oh, my God.
But since they both indulged in these mushrooms, the way he describes it and everything is just like, oh, this is, like, such a hot sexual thing. Like, her body is falling apart into my hands, and she's, like, becoming, like, this putty, and, like, I can, like, meld my hands into, like, the flesh and muscle beneath. Like, he's lost his mind, but it doesn't actually, you know, he can't really show anything else but the emotion he was already feeling because he's just going about the emotions that he already has.
Oh.
Yeah. There's some like wild stuff too, like the chick who like I had one with a Mistress Pasta who did like this chick who was jealous of her friend, so she snuck these mushrooms she found trying to get her high, but not realizing it into her food, and then like ends up eating them as they come out of her body again. Like it's craziness.
So that's very like fucking Junji Ito vibe.
Yeah.
That kind of gives me the vibe of.
Max wrote fantastic stuff. I think he ended up stopping after that one. In the Creepypasta collection, he had a book that was he had a story that I published because I thought it was so good, called Licks from a Bear, that was just like this story about a guy who wanted to. You know the thing about like they used to say like, oh yeah, when back in the day, whenever you would have a headache, they would just drill a hole in your head
to release the pressure or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a guy who's like, I'm gonna try drilling a hole in my head to release the pressure. It feels so good. He just keeps doing it.
Oh. So look, listen. Sometimes when things get really stressful, okay, like, I get it. It's like looking at your toaster and being like, one day, as you move to the bathtub, like I understand in premise. Night Shmanu, take care of yourself. But
it's he's got really good like imagery when writing, and it's like this wild shit.
Visceral. It sounds like straight visceral imagery. Oh my God. And part of that kind of shit makes me miss doing stories as often. It's just for me. I mean, we've talked about this. It's hard for me to find them. Did you ever listen to Baraska? So I did. I think I did a piece for one of the Baraskas, if I'm not mistaken, ages ago.
Not with me.
No. But I got asked to by someone. I don't remember. But I do remember Baraska. Anyway.
That's good shit. Baraska's good shit. Yeah.
So somebody also, I think Kabushi brought up, so Accounts for Lonely Broadcast Station, since you brought it up, this is actually relevant.
Yes.
This is actually relevant. So, obviously, Spike and I, longstanding, did Accounts for Lonely Broadcast Station, which was Windingus. Traditionally, of course, it was the Reddit stories, which there was like 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Kel Byron, who is Windingus, has moved on to do A Lonely Broadcast, which is the novelization of the book. The first book is done and complete. We also have the first audiobook available, which I will work on releasing maybe a couple of chapters with Kel's permission. But the first audiobook for A Lonely Broadcast is done.
That's clever.
The reason I bring it up to say that I think I want to do that, and I'm gonna correlate with Spike to do this, and also to talk to Win.
Yes.
I think
I didn't even think about that ever, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, you did.
I mind melded. Don't worry.
Yeah,
look,
we
I saw the vision when you said it.
You knew, buddy. You just rolled.
I saw the vision.
But I think what I'm going to do for you guys, because a lot of you never got the opportunity to maybe listen to some of the chapters, or you're coming in late to the game, which is totally fine. But I will work on releasing a couple of chapters with Spike so that we can, to YouTube, so it's easily accessible, so that we can show you guys what the difference is. Not only is it it's the same story, of course, because we have Evelyn, we have Danny, we have Finn. But we are joined by Joey Sorless, who is our Finn. So we actually have a third voice and a voice for Finn, which Joey was such a phenomenal pick for Finn. Knocks it the fuck out of the park. So I bring it up because obviously with the first audiobook for A Lonely Broadcast done, Kel has moved on and completed book 2 for A Lonely Broadcast, which would be the equivalent of our second season. What makes these books different, and what makes these audiobooks different, is that they are a continuation and also added information. So there's a lot more to the actual novelization of A Lonely Broadcast than there was for Accounts from A Lonely Broadcast Station. So if you guys are fans of the series, getting into the novel is a really, really great spot to be, because you're getting stuff that was left out from the story. So it's been added on. Finn now has his own chapters as well, so you're getting a lot more from Finn and Finn's background and things happening with that character. And it's really cool. But why would you bring it up, Autumn? Well, because we are working on the audiobook for A Lonely Broadcast Book 2. So if you guys were fans of the initial, we will be working on launching the Kickstarter for support for A Lonely Broadcast Book 2 audiobook. If you want to pre-read, Book 2 is already available through Kel Byron. I believe it's on Amazon and also on Kel Byron's website. But we did have to look at launching a Kickstarter for this second one, which is not something I think that really any of us, necessarily try to do if we could help it. But obviously this is an indie production. We have added voice actors. We have to make sure the editing is good for the actual audio itself. Obviously Behold Music came back and was able to facilitate soundtrack pieces for the audiobook as well, which was really fucking cool. But when we go to launch this, ideally we're looking at launching February. So this is happening very soon. So if you guys want to help support, you're going to see more of drops and more information from us. But I think what I'll try to do is Spike and I can chat about it and drop you guys some chapters from the first audiobook for the initial.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And we'll work on that for you so that you can kind of see what you're getting into. But maybe what we'll do is we'll drop like a chapter or two the first couple of days before the launch of the Kickstarter. We're looking at tentatively launching it February 13th, which is, of course, a Friday the 13th. And then we're going to try to run it for at least 2 months.
Right before Valentine's Day.
Yes, actually, that was the whole point. We're like, how do we fuck up everybody's Valentine's Day? So we wanted to try to do that, but more information will be had. We have some pretty cool goals that we tried to set up for you guys for that too. It is not expensive. We're not asking for like $200 and then you can just have the audio. Like, we're not doing that. We tried to discuss what would be cost effective and what would be reasonable, because obviously we want you guys to be able to get things that you love and be able to listen to this, but also not break the bank. So, but yeah, we're looking at launching that February Friday the 13th. And will run for, I think we're going to do it for about 45 days so that you guys have ample time to prep. So, but Spike will be back, of course, as our Danny boy. So
I am.
He doesn't know it yet. He knows it now. We had to rehire him.
I was expecting to be recast.
Oh, you're playing.
Could you imagine?
You're just Bartholomew now. Like, that's it. You're just playing Bartholomew now.
Oh, dude, I would too.
Little asshole. I should have guessed it.
When we get the film project eventually, I demand to play Bartholomew.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, so that's the deal. I told Win because I have the initial right for the script, right? Like, the script that Monty wrote, I have it. It's still here. It needs to be gone through, but it's the first draft. And like, brother, I swear to God, and I've said it 1,000 times, I want a fucking feature for accounts. But if it happens, I told Win, I was like, we at the very least, if like the studio that picks it up refuses and like I audition and they're like, no, not a good fit. First of all, I'm gonna choke them. But that's not the point. All right? Like, fine, I'll roll on that. But the least that you could do though is like, you could be Bartholomew and I'll just be one of the questionable arms attached to Big Boy, and that's how we're gonna do this.
Dude, that would be so fun. That's the kind of shit. Like, when I talked to Jack before about like they're doing like a feature for
the gas station.
Yeah. He was like, that you wouldn't be able to, and I'd be worried about like people accepting it. I was like, dude, I am in no way a skinny, tall white man, so I can't play Jack in any way, and I'm sure that anybody who watches it can understand that.
I think...
But like, I would love to just be a voice on the television that gets turned off for being too annoying.
I think when Win and I talked about it, we talked about having, like, if there wasn't a way to work it in, or there wasn't a way, because obviously, Danny is of a different background, but at the same time, it's also a POC position. So like, from a hiring standpoint, you want to have that diversity. But at the same time, like, in a worst case, if you didn't want to do it, or if there was an audition point, or things weren't, like, whatever they wound up to be, I told Win, I was like, bro, at the very least, like, we all need to just be like the tape voices that have to be listened to.
Yeah, that would be sick. That would be fun.
Like, that's it. They go to listen to the fucking tapes, and it's just sheer desperation and screaming. Oh, that's Spike! Oh, I know that voice. That's Mr. Creepypasta.
Oh, I know that scream.
That's my guy. Is that chewing in the background? I recognize that chewing.
Yeah, dude, that's the Doritos.
That made me so sick. I was so mad at you.
Oh, because you don't like Doritos?
I was so mad at you. No! The Doritos were fine. It was the chewing.
Did you know that Doritos were made at Disneyland?
What?
Oh, did you actually not know that?
No.
That's one of my favorite Doritos. That's one of my favorite Disneyland pieces of trivia. Yeah, Doritos were made at Disneyland.
No,
they were invented at Disneyland. They were tortillas that they ended up smashing out. I think it was Disneyland. They were like didn't have anything else to sell, so they smashed up a bunch of leftover tortillas and just fried them that way, and then made them into Doritos.
No.
That was the first time that they were invented. Yeah, look that up.
Okay,
look
stop.
That up.
The only reason
real.
I believe you, and I'm going to tell chat this too. The only reason I believe him, okay, is because this man is an insane, that's his that is his hyperfixation. He knows shit about theme parks that I have never in my life fucking heard, and I had to fact check him once or twice because I was like, "There's no way. There's no fucking way." But he knows this shit. It's fucking weird. Like,
oh yeah, that was my hyperfixation, is just like learning theme park and Disneyland lore. It's really fun for me. Yeah.
I mean, kudos. Like, I'm not gonna look. My hyperfixation is fucking medieval torture. So like, I can't really say that when you're like, no, but Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. By the way, Doritos. And meanwhile, I'm like, oh hey, so let's talk about the Blood Eagle. Like,
yeah. Oh, Blood Eagle. That sounds sick as hell.
I like how you said that, and you're like, this guy, like it had the same tone.
Oh
man, oh buddy, who was this guy?
The NES Disneyland game, I didn't play the NES Disneyland game. I did get the recreation they did of the Disney World game, a board game from the 1970s, and I love it like to death. I have the 2017 Disneyland game for Xbox and PC. That one's fun.
I did not know that I didn't know about those things, and I do now, and that's a thing I know now.
Dude, next time you're over, we'll play the Disneyland board game. It's just literally the board game is just like make up the most fun day you could make at Disney World, the board game. Like imagine that, but like with the rules of like walk around the board like Monopoly, and that's just it. It's like, what do you want to do for fun? I want to do this. This looks fun. Cool. You could do that. Segment? Roll the dice.
Oh my god. Oh, so
Ray, it's just a fun time.
So for those of you doubting, by the way, Ray found the thing about the Doritos. The original product was made at the Casa de Fritos, now Rancho del Zocalo, at Disneyland in Anaheim, California, during the early 1960s. Using surplus tortillas and taking inspiration from a traditional Mexican snack known as totopo, citation, I guess, is needed. The company-owned restaurant cut them into smaller pieces, fried them, and then added basic seasoning. Arch West was the vice president of marketing of Frito-Lay at the time, and then noticed the popularity. That's nuts. And that's not a thing I know, too. And I'm mad at you for revealing.
Oh, dude, I told you this last time we were in LA. Like, we could go again. Like, next time we're in LA at the same time, I'm not joking. We'll go to Disneyland, and I will give you the Spike tour, which is just me telling you a whole bunch of facts you don't want to know until you're annoyed enough to pay me to shut up.
It's fine, because if we have to, like, if we wind up there, you're gonna do that. Meanwhile, Ellis is going to be on the other side, pointing at various roller coasters, telling me about the last time somebody got their foot cut off or died. So,
yeah, I know those things too. Yeah,
no!
I did back when Pop Base was that phone app.
Right.
That's what my whole deal was, doing theme park like death trivia.
Why are you like this?
Oh, dude, like, so I want to say, like, two of the worst deaths at Disneyland are some of the most unassuming things. So, like, one of the things that I think was the worst is because, like, they had, like, interviews for these that were pretty wild. So 2 kids tried to sneak into Disneyland by walking the monorail track. The monorail track the monorail is not made for, like, doing hard stops, right? It doesn't have brakes made like that because it's on an elevated track. Like, a deer's not going to walk across that. So you don't think about it. The security officers were attempting to stop the children from going on there. They thought because he was going to arrest them, he was like, no, because there's no brake on that thing that can stop for that. The kids got caught underneath it and dragged, and they had to, like, the quotes were about him having to essentially hose off the monorails because, like, they don't really have protocols for, like, cleaning these things like that because, it's not like a deer could get on the track.
How do we peel this child out from, like, not even this child, it's just parts. How do we peel this this meat pop out from under this fucking monorail?
Oh yeah. The other thing was the Carousel of Progress.
I'm sorry, what?
Which is a slow-moving, like, show ride. Essentially, imagine this. It's a circular stage, right? Okay. 360-degree circular stage, and the seating around the stage moves. It's a really cool concept. It was made for the World's Fair.
Okay.
So it's a pretty old ride, but it still exists. Honestly, if you go to Disney World, I always suggest you ride it. It's like a 20-minute show. It's very, very fun. Shows off some of the first uses of audio animatronics that Disney World, or Disneyland at that point, had ever made. And it was fully directed by Walt Disney, which is pretty cool Disney history.
Okay.
That being said, it tells you every time you get on the ride, hey, this is a 20-minute ride. Don't get up and leave. You can't. Just that. You can't get up and leave. As human beings do, somebody got up and tried to leave.
As is a human was wont to do, of course.
As I mentioned, the theater itself is what moves around. So that means the door to leave is a stationary piece. Yeah, they got caught in between the door and the wall.
Okay.
And were essentially slowly, loudly, and torturously killed.
Could you imagine being on the ride, though? Because, like, they can't stop it, and it's 20 minutes. So, like, could you imagine being the dumbass that was like, nope, getting up, and then gets caught, and it's just... Like
lots of screaming. Yes, lots of screaming because they just got crushed slowly to death.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I should not be laughing, but like
no, I mean, like, look, this is a history thing, and like this is it's not like it's not too soon.
You're like, no, man, this is like it's not like it was yesterday.
They've since put safety protocols in. And the same thing like the Matterhorn roller coaster, one of the first roller coasters of its kind.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't used to have safety straps on it because, again, first roller coaster of its kind. They didn't really think that you needed to have these kinds of things until a kid decided, hey, I bet you I could jump from here onto that landing. Turns out safety straps are pretty important. Yeah, I mean, that's how you ever think of like a piece of like safety material that you have was created because it was needed. Somebody created the need for it. It's like the laws you see.
At some point, somebody did some dumb fuckery, and this is where we wound up.
Yep.
Nowadays, you have some teen Fortnite dancing to get TikTok famous while everybody else is screaming and somebody else is crushed to death.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like Final Destination touches on that, though. Like, that's part of where that conversation comes from. That was awesome. It's the first ride I went on after graduating from med school. The Matterhorn?
The Matterhorn's fun. I don't think I think the Matterhorn at my age isn't as fun because, it realigns my fucking back.
Because old.
I think it's because I'm old for one, and two, it's old. The thing I just said about it being the first roller coaster of its kind.
I don't know how I would feel. I'm not a super roller coaster person anyway. Like, I will get on the back of a 1,200-pound animal that could just decide to kill me one day because it can. But God forbid I set foot on a regulated roller coaster that has been like updated and maintained and then like has safety straps. Sure as fuck won't do that. But I'll let a 1,200-pound animal wrangle me. That's fine.
Okay.
I don't...
Look, I'm just saying, like, the Matterhorn, it has been updated quite a bit. I think it's a great roller coaster, but it absolutely is old. It is old. It is rickety. It
the sound.
It has a lot of like jitter to it that you expect from an older roller coaster.
Oh my god, like the where you
yeah. It's because it's just it's an old roller coaster, you know? It was made back in 1955, 1954.
Hard no. If you go to the store, look on the box to a curling iron. On it, you see "Do not insert into any orifice," or a clothes iron that says "Do not iron when clothes are still being worn." Airline peanuts have directions that say "Open and then consume." What were they doing with the airline peanuts? Wait a minute. Wait.
Look, man. Again, the rules are there because somebody required them to be made.
I feel like that's a deep dive that is waiting to happen on like the reason behind certain things that have warning labels. Like, why does the warning label exist on X item? And I feel like we need to deep dive into the reason for the storyline. I feel like there's missed opportunity here, and you guys are uncovering it, and I'm really upset about that, because I will no longer want to do half the things that I do in life because of these warning labels. Like, that's it. Please don't die. That's the other thing. I'm sure there's a warning label on cough syrup, so...
Oh, yeah. Look, you're telling me you think people don't just drink that shit?
You don't?
Yeah, of course.
The momentary pause and, like, the lull. Which, by the way, since we're here and we're...
Lean is a thing.
Oh, okay, whoa. We can't talk about lean unless Ellis is in the room. We've agreed. Like, that's not how that works. Coffee, caution, contents are very hot.
Oh, well, that was the thing. That was like, so that was a thing that a lot of people talk about, right? The McDonald's coffee thing.
Yeah. Although I looked into that. So my understanding...
She got fucked up,
she did.
Dude.
Well, so my understanding is everybody was like, okay, this bitch with the fucking McDonald's coffee, like anybody will sue anything, you know, da-da-da, right? That conversation.
Yeah.
The problem, though, is that coffee that she had was like, over reasonable levels of heat. Yeah, somebody just said it in chat. It was like over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Like, she spilled this on her lower stomach and crotch, right? Like, no, that was second degree burns.
Second degree burns,
like,
yeah.
No,
she got fucked up. It was not a joke like, oh, haha. Yeah, she's suing for a hot coffee. No, that was she legitimately got fucked up.
She got insanely slandered during that time period because they were and you actually, that's a really good point. So that was a publicity draw, right? Like, they were really trying to push the propaganda of like, oh, she's just stupid. She's trying to, you know, get money out of a big company, like whatever. And like the reality is like, no, this woman had severe burns because they served the coffee at that degree. So like, yes, obviously hot. Coffee is hot. Oh no, hot liquid. But there's like, oh man, oh god, I burned my mouth. This hot coffee is hot. Oh, and then there's like, like incoherent bubbling of flesh.
Yeah, incoherent bubbling. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Like, I'm just saying, it's how. No, and Hawkrider just said it. It's like, it's how you spread that corporate propaganda so that you can devalue the suit to come in. It's because then you have biased opinion, but like. And the same could be said for roller coaster basing too, to like wrap the conversation back around. Like, it happens, but no, you're completely correct. Yeah, in a parked car, fully clothed, wearing jeans, and then she still needed surgery. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Oh God, that makes me not. Also, Chaos, Dawn, and Outshot, thank you guys for the follows. I apologize. We've been bullshitting. My apologies. But no, side note. So remember when we told you guys quite some time ago that we were talking about doing like a horror movie review thing? So apparently the first episode is done, and then Spike forgot to send it to me. So you guys can all thank Dad for once again failing you.
Oh, it needs to be uploaded to the... Wow.
Abandoned and alone again. With entertainment, nonetheless, in his hands.
Wow.
Slander.
Wow.
You didn't even say anything. What do you...
Look, I can't say anything because you're right. but like McDonald's, I'm about to gaslight everybody into thinking this is an overreaction.
They want to downgrade you to stepdad, buddy. I don't know if you're gonna win this
Wow.
I don't know if you're gonna win.
Stepdad. I'm the dad who stepped up. Let me see. That's the Actually, I think it is in the drive though.
Can't taste the burnt if you don't have taste buds.
I need to I need to put the audio up onto the thing I did. So
jokes aside, so like he's working on it. We just had not. Him and I both have had a lot of shit going on in the background between finishing books and like other jobs. So we will work on that. But a first episode exists. It does exist. We covered Black Phone too, so it's a little late. But boy, that was a rough movie. It was a rough
movie.
That was a rough movie. But we did cover that. So I will let you guys know when that's posted. It'll be probably a cross-promotion post, but we will definitely post that.
Oh, yeah. I want to do more movies, too. Because, one, I feel like we're well past the point to talk about FNAF 2, but I want to talk about FNAF 2, because I have opinions.
But I think that going back and revisiting, like, not just new films, but revisiting old films as well, isn't necessarily a bad... I mean, we literally spent... Before you, I think, popped into chat, we talked about Silent Hill, Return to Silent Hill. But we started talking about older movies, too, and, like, the reason that some of them can't be appreciated. So, like, revisiting old films isn't necessarily a bad thing, either.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like
we'll go into Bodies.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched Bodies because I looked at it and went,
movies.
Maybe not.
It's a movie.
Okay. Good. So
the movie's there. It's got a
body.
To it.
Yeah.
There's a body.
There's some bodies. If you guys have movies that you would like us to cover, that is something that I am open to doing, especially with precedence on films I haven't seen. And that Spike hasn't seen, but I'm down.
Yeah. If it's one neither of us have seen, I'll be down for that.
I was ready for new horror reviews. That was the plan. That's what we're gearing towards. But I think we're gonna cover new and old. We will not.
The next one, Iron Lung.
Yeah, actually, yes. Because I want to talk about that from multiple perspectives, not just for like biased position, but I feel like that's another one to discuss. For here's what you can do based on, what you're capable of doing. We will not be covering Daredevil, mostly horror. We're not doing the Ben Affleck Daredevil. We talked about this.
Oh God, no. I was like, I could talk about Born Again. I was just watching that with Bo. Like, oh, never mind. No, I don't want to watch the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
I do need you to watch Dust Bunny, brother.
Dust Bunny. Oh, I could watch that.
I need you to watch.
I've been seeing it on the internet.
It's not what you expect. It's not what you expect. I will say that because like the trailer does a good job.
Is it a horror movie?
Technically.
Okay. I don't care. I'll watch it if it's not. I'm just curious.
I would say it's technically horror, but it's not like crazy. It's like kid horror, but also not for kids, if that makes sense. Like it's high art almost. It's very pretty. It's a visually pretty film. But
I can be down for that. Sure.
Yeah, I guess so. It's Brian Fuller's first feature, apparently, which is also interesting. But I would say give it a go, and it is streamable, so it's not like you have to go anywhere to watch it.
Oh yeah. I've gone through my thing. You know how I feel about movie theaters.
How do you feel about movie theaters? Would you like to tell everybody how you feel about movie theaters?
Have I actually never told you about that?
I think you might have told me, but
yeah, I don't particularly since 2020 essentially. I feel like the movie theater industry is consistently taking the viewership of people for granted. Like, so if you want to think about this, since before the COVID shutdown, right?
Right.
I think we've gotten. Maybe 4D theaters tried to kind of make a comeback, but those were also around before COVID. And even then, it's at an elevated ticket price. The only real difference in movie theaters is by trying to take advantage of collectible items, that kind of culture, because they're putting out the popcorn buckets. Yeah. And even then, I don't know if you guys have seen the recent price of popcorn buckets, they touch into the triple digits because they know they can exploit you on things like this. And being exploited by a movie theater for these exorbitant prices is nothing new. We're pretty much used to that. At least I've been used to that since college. The price of movie tickets going higher and higher as time progresses, while the quality of the movie theaters consistently go down. I think one of the biggest tells for me was when we went to a movie theater over in Dallas where we used to live, and it had rats.
Oh God!
This was a food theater.
Oh.
It had rats. The prices were still whatever it was. I paid triple digits for my family and myself to go to see a movie and get food. And there were rats in the theater. And that's where I was like, you know what? We're just not going to do this anymore. The movie theaters don't care. They expect you to continue to go regardless of the quality that they put out. And I quite honestly feel like, with the rise of streaming, I expect the industry to also grow with it. It needs to create an incentive for us to be able to go by at least, at the very bare minimum, having an atmosphere that feels at least an elevated quality of than staying at home to be able to watch a film.
I agree.
And I don't think it provides that. This is beyond the level of I'm not talking about it needs to have affordable food even. I'm saying it just needs to have a quality enough atmosphere. It needs to have speakers that work. It needs to have a screen that doesn't have a burn-in on it,
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think
rats that aren't employed.
And a rat-free environment. I don't think that movie theaters care enough. And this also comes from a personal thing, knowing the mogul here that owns all the Regal theaters in this city.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about what you guys care. He doesn't give a shit about how his employees deal with. This is if he could get away with making his employees drink rat poison instead of giving them a lunch, he would. And it's just at that point I'm like, dude, I'm out.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. He's a really racist dude.
No, okay, that's a super.
He's got some wild shit going on. Yeah, it's that, and I've said before, I like the Alamo Drafthouse. I think the Alamo Drafthouse has done a decent enough job with these kinds of things. But even still, I mean, they're very community based, and I can appreciate them being as community based as they are, and wanting to go along with making a. I don't know, making an effort in that way.
Yeah.
But even still, I can't really justify, me. I have a family that's me, my wife, and my sister-in-law. We want to go see a movie over there and get dinner. It's going to be $140.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that. I'll pay $140 to go see Markiplier's movie because I know how much he put into making that movie. That's what I'm gonna do. But to go see, I don't know, even Avengers Doomsday, this is a $2 billion film. I feel like the industry can give back a little bit. Yeah.
Treen! Hi, Treen! Well, and Shaggy just said it too. I don't know. I feel like there's no universal quote movie theater experience, but perhaps that's part of the perception of the problem. But specifically, Shaggy, I think what Spike's kind of getting at for this in particular is it's your birthday? John, ass in the chat for Treen. Show me ass. Oh, very drunk ass Treen. Love it.
Drunk ass stream.
Drunk ass stream for drunk ass Treen. I love that for you. I hope you're having a good time. I like how Treen posted her ass. I love that for you, Treen. Oh my God. Merry Womb Ejection Day. We love you. We love the Treen. But and that's exactly it. Is I think that sometimes we wind up in this situation where it's you're devalued as a customer by that point. So it's just not really worth putting in the extra energy and the extra effort if that's how they're gonna fucking turn around and treat you anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the rats for me. Honestly, rats deserve better labor rates.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. I'm adding that to the list.
Better labor rates for the rats. Look, they're doing their best.
I think that's just my big thing. The rats are what obviously got me. It was okay, we don't want to come to this theater anymore. But it's just it's just the lack of effort on from the industry as a whole. Like,
Yeah.
I've not seen a single new feature besides an exploitative price.
Well, it's that, or you get the ones that are like the quote unquote couch comfy theaters where they sell the food. Like, we have a theater locally in well, I say locally, I don't live in Portland, but there's a theater in Portland, for example, that has like the couch cushiony experience where like they have the big couches and like they're super soft and plush, and like they serve your food and they've got like little like footstools and shit like that. And it's like, but you're literally just going at that point to experience a film with some like slightly higher end speakers, surround sound, and then project it onto a screen. In which case, you could spend the same amount of money on like a decent surround sound system and like one of the big fucking like hang up theater screens or whatever that you can buy and put on your wall, and spend the same amount of money and do that same shit at home. And then like if you're chilling with a partner and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time, like eat your dinner, fuck, go to sleep. You can do that on your own couch at home. Whoa, hey, let's go.
That's how I feel about about it too. I have a theater in my home that I'm like, why spend as much money as I have to make this like a location if I'm not gonna use it?
I agree.
But like, no, that is the pain in the dick for me. But
I feel it.
Not to say everyone else, but this is a vote with my wallet situation where I don't want to pay money to go until they make me have a reason to want to pay that money.
Give me the.
So I mean,
reason.
Obviously, like you guys have a good theater, go do it.
Oh yeah,
go
absolutely.
Enjoy your theater. I'm not trying to push people to not go to the movies.
But do it as like
if
is it?
I'm
sure the money.
voting my wallet.
Yeah. So support it with your with like put your money where your mouth is, but in this case it's the theater. Like if you're gonna accept my money, at least fucking be worth my time. Yeah.
Oh dude, yeah, exactly.
I feel it. Treen, enjoy. We also are gonna be seeing Iron Lung. We gotta support the looked down upon YouTuber plague, apparently, I guess. We have to support each other.
Did you see the thing about how much money that like just from initial ticket sales he's making from that film too?
Yes.
It's good.
He's made
good numbers.
He's made all of his money back, and that's kind of one of the big things.
Oh yes.
This is also a testament, though. I feel like I should save this conversation for after we do a review and watch it. But like, the one thing I will say, which this is actually a good closing statement too, I'm excited that he managed to achieve this for Iron Lung, not just from a sales perspective. Like, yeah, fine, the money's great. But I think you guys really, and in chat, we've talked about this. I don't know, you may or may not have been there during that, but we've talked about it. And I've been on tirades enough times. People who are creators or content creators of any variety, whether you come from an acting background or if you're just doing influencing or if you're a narrator, like if you're on Spike and that's your thing, too often does mainstream and Hollywood position look down upon the things that we do and like the projects that we want to bring to life, because we understand it from a different consumer perspective, because we consume that media, but we also provide it. The problem is that they like wag their finger at us and are like, you could never understand the industry. So what Mark has inevitably done is managed to bring to light a lot of shit and be like, no, this is an achievable goal. I had this thing. It took me forever. Like, I put my blood, sweat, literally hospital trips, but like blood, sweat, and tears into this. And then I was still willing to keep going, even though I wanted to quit numerous times. And he's obviously been very passionate and very open about speaking about that. And now, and once the movie comes out, I'm sure that, he'll speak more about it because the film's out. But I think it's very important that this is seen and is shown that there is value in the things that we bring to the table as creators of various varieties. And like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I hate that there was this initial like production butt up against him with a lot of these development companies or the production companies, because they simply did not see the value in what he was trying to bring to the table. So he was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And for me, that's a huge thing.
You know what? You're right. Watch the Creepypasta movie.
Okay, let's not get excited. Okay, hold on. Wait.
Yeah, watch the Creepypasta movie. You're right. You are so right.
Support the little guys.
Support the little guy. Buy it on Amazon Prime.
Ooh.
I don't know where else it's available at.
I like how you don't even know. You're just like, yeah, buy. Buy, sell.
Buy it there. That's what I did.
No, listen, chat. Here's what we're gonna do. Spike and I are gonna make the scary movie equivalent of creepypasta, but we can't call it creepypasta. Okay.
We can.
No. We can't call it creepypasta because it's scary movie. So we can't call it creepypasta. It has to
creepy
be
movie.
It has to be scary rigatoni.
Christ.
A really creepy movie.
Really creepy movie.
Treen can write it.
This is not creepypasta. Oh my God.
Treen can write it with us. Treen knows how to make things
Drunk
horrible.
birthday Treen? You want drunk birthday Treen to write the scary movie?
Fettuccine Alfredo. The scary spaghetti. That's it. That's what we're missing. And then we're going to write it about about Slender Man's brother, but we can't say Slender Man, so instead it's going to be...
Yeah, you can't say Slender Man.
We can't say Slender Man, so it's going to be something else. All of my best ideas are while I'm drunk. That's it. The main character, the main bad guy is going to be the creepy pee-pee preacher.
Skinny guy.
Unsettling udon. Terrifying tortellini. Okay, you guys are too much. You're killing me.
Dear God.
You're fucking killing me. The skinny guy. This isn't your dad's creepypasta. It's mom's chilling lasagna. He's tall and pale, only has a nose. Pennywise the clown.
Oh, dude, it's just gotta... Oh, my fucking God. Pennywise is honestly pure brilliance, and I'm upset that you came up with this.
Skinny Jimothy, the tall twink with 4 arms.
Skinny Jimothy.
Pennywise is really fucking good. You get a cookie.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was really good. It's just all pasta-themed horror. Please. I'm dead. Ravenous ravioli.
A severe misunderstanding of what the genre is. Pasta-themed horror.
I want you guys to know when we were trying to come up with the name of, like, the review podcast, we did this exact thing for, like, fucking 2 hours because we couldn't pick a
it
name.
was a while.
So, like, we were coming up with the most ridiculous shit at one point because I was like, fuck it, it exists. It doesn't matter anymore. So, just know that when the name is revealed that, no, Ellis's choice didn't make it, but we thought about it. Will Penne be a bowl of sentient, malevolent pasta that floats? Jesus Christ. You're all disowned.
You'll float too.
Attack of the Killer Protein Shake. Alright, so, like...
I would watch that. I would actually watch that movie. Attack of the Killer Protein Shake? That sounds good. That sounds good. I'd watch that movie.
It's gonna... from the producers of Sharknado. I feel like that's a movie Steve would make. Steve Rudzinski made Carousel. I feel like that's one of Steve's movies. I feel like that's what we're missing here. Dancing, wacky, inflatable, creepy peepa pasta arm man. Jesus. Okay, listen.
That's a mouthful. That's how you just said there.
I'm surprised I managed to get it out of my mouth. I was hesitating. But you know what? We did it. Alright guys, here's the deal. I need to go eat dinner because I haven't, and I also really have to go piss girl. So, we are going...
bring your mic.
I can't. It's against... apparently people, like, men can be shirtless on Twitch, but I can't pee into the microphone. Otherwise they fucking... Anyway.
Hang on, into the microphone?
Yeah, just right on top of it. You put some plastic over it. Anyway, so you can find... Spike had the pleasure of joining us during the second half of this stream.
Thank you for letting...
Anytime. Like, this was entertaining. Piss on it like a prego test. Treen, drink water. God,
Jesus.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
New pregnant test.
Oh my God.
New pregnancy test that I've made for the phone. What you do is you load the app, you pee on your phone, and then you're not allowed.
I'm upset with you. But it's fine. I accept it. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, you're back.
Thank you.
So I was like, you pee on your phone. Yeah, yep. The internet said no.
And then you're not allowed to have kids anymore.
Oh, yeah, that sounds. Please be safe if you guys are back in the southeast corner of the country. I know it's really, really bad right now. Spike obviously is also subjected to some of the storms. So please be safe.
It's okay. The ice out here is melting.
That's good. So in your spot, I know somebody else mentioned
my
they were
spot.
in Texas, and I guess they were getting hit too pretty bad. So But if it's hot, because for Valkian's in Australia, so it's gonna be hot. So good luck with that. Please stay cool. If you're under 1.5 feet of snow like Treen, though, GG's. Good luck. Teabag your partner.
Under a foot.
Yeah, that's tough. But we are gonna raid out. I think Kaldrak is streaming. So obviously Kaldrak is also a partner under Night Shift, so we will raid into his stream. Say something really mean, but like TOS appropriate.
That's right. You can announce yourself too, even though I'm pretty sure we've done this before.
Oh, I don't know, maybe. Listen, I'm just here for
pretty sure we have.
But if you guys want to listen to stories, of course, Spike / Mr. PvPaster / Mr. Creepypasta does have stories available under his YouTube. But you guys can check those out. And of course, my stuff is all under autumnivyofficial.com, with merch at autumnivy.com. Blonde Blazer was my recent release. I do have some new sets coming and some new votes as well. So make sure you get in while you can, and they are discounted. But let's raid out. Please be safe. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Drink lots of water. Take your grandma's goldfish for a walk. If you don't have grandma's goldfish, you could take your dog if you really wanted to. And I'm sure if I recommended you taking your wife, that she may not like that very much. But, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But you guys take care. I love you very much. Okay. Okay.